Yep.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to Blades and Blasters presentation of the One Ring RPG. This is the first episode of Book 2 of this grand epic campaign that we're hoping to make. We did recently have a prelude, but this is where we're going to kick it off proper. So without further ado, let's enter Middle-earth. It is the year 2013 of the Third Age of Middle-earth. It is a time of peace, if only brief, and if only made possible by the heroic actions of a few. Though small in number, they were mighty in spirit, and came to be known as the Company of the Kingsfell. 3 years ago, they beat back the blasting horns of the enemy, setting siege to the ruined ramparts of Fornost, and reclaiming it from a shadow that had mysteriously materialized in the north. For the time being, the free peoples of Eridor are safe from threat. But the doom of Middle-earth is a fragile thing. Its fate seems to turn on a single small decision, a single action, a thought, a comment, a trinket. And so it is that a man, an elf, and a halfling are traveling north. They pass under the leafless eaves of the trees along the greenway. It is December 17th. Not really reflective of that picture, but... And chill is in the air, and not long ago, a thin white blanket of snow has fallen. Their horses are strong and healthy, even in the cold, and their equine breath produces 2 small jets of vapor from their nostrils. They camp, they chat, and they move along leisurely. When they finally reach Fornost, it is December 20th, and they are greeted with a glad sight. The smoke rising from the fortress city is not soot-filled and dark. It is kindly and has a wholesome look to it, the kind of smoke that rises from a warm and welcome home. From winter meals cooked with care and glee, and the sights as the travelers ride through the restored gates, come also savory smells and the sound of laughter and merrymaking. For in this land, preparations are being made for the Yule festival, and a band of dwarves has just returned from the north, bearing a gift. Doop. 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 So we'll let those 3 kind of RP for a little bit. So you've been given your task that I direct message you on Discord, and you've ridden leisurely up the Greenway. It's December 17th, and as you enter this place, it's kind of a opposite picture of when you left. There's like people there. There's you can smell baking bread. You can there's a couple revelers walking around drunk, sloshing some ale around. There's some greenery being hung all about the front gate of Fornost as you enter. And can somebody make me a lore check? Maybe you can figure out what Yule means in Bree.
I have 2, but Goody's probably better.
Oh, I could probably do it. Yeah, I got 3 in lore.
Ooh.
Here we go, lads, boys, lads.
What a shit roll.
14. So basically that Yule is this festival in this region of Eridor in the Shire and Bree, and basically it's kind of 2 days of feasting and merrymaking and music and riddles and all sorts of fun things. It typically takes place the day before New Year's and the day after, which is I believe the 21st, December 21st in Tolkien's world, something like that.
What a detestable time of year for you man folk.
Come now, Arthur.
Starting out.
Will you just find some joy in Yule? The food you can eat, the smoke you can smoke, the drinks you can drink.
None of it compares to Imladris.
It may not, but surely it should bring some joy to that cold heart of yours. And it has been getting colder, I have noticed. Cheer up, old friend, you are alive and amongst your friends.
Alive. Yes.
Arvel is on his horse and looks over to Arthur and Goody and them back at the fortress and the celebrations, and says, Yule is not the point, Arthur. Look at these people. They have smiles on their faces, there's laughter in the air. This is because of our deeds, because of the strength of men, elves, halflings, and dwarves. This should give you hope. This should give you the fight to carry on, no matter what the past has given us, the hardships we've endured. And he takes a deep breath and kind of lets it all sink in, looking around. And oh, wait, that was just me.
Maybe.
As you enter, there's like a trio of somebody with some drums and a lute and some other sorts of woodwinds, and they're playing some music. And so it's you might find it very strange and odd that despite all this, Arthur is absolutely miserable. And just to cue in anybody watching, he is technically miserable according to the system, meaning his hope score and his shadow score are equal. So the scene changes, and now you find yourself in. You see a band of dwarves. Along with them is Berendir, a man of Gondor, and Vidar, Vidar to the dwarf, and maybe nearby is Aglaron, one of the Sylvan elves who is quiet but has been part of this company from the very beginning. And this dwarf expedition has only recently returned, and there's Paul meeting with Aragorn, son of Arathorn, and they're speaking with him. And it's warm, crackling fire, cold outside, but nice. And all around the hall, there are these big, heavy benches, and food and ale are being served. And here as well, men and women are hanging decorations for the Yule Fest. By the time you guys get to Fornost, now it's December 20th. As you guys give that ring of Barahir to Aragorn, I think Berendir, you were the one that was going to give it to him, right?
Yeah, it was given to me.
Yeah. So he goes ahead and kind of takes it. He kind of holds it up to the rafters of this hall, where there's kind of lamps, and there's lanterns hung there, and it shines. He says, Lo, these many years has this ring been kept in the north. Out of the first days of Middle-earth it came, bore on the hand of my father's fathers, and even Beren himself, who they call Archemion, or One Hand. Then he holds it to the light again and says, and now it's made its way back. He slips the ring onto his right hand and says, Thank you, dear dwarves and man of Gondor. This means a great deal to me and my house, and I suspect it bodes well for the future. And he grins and laughs a little and says, Or ill. These days it is hard to tell. He crosses his arms and kind of sits back. He's in like a kind of like large chair in this room and says, At any rate, welcome back, brave companions. You deserve some warmth and some cheer. And by chance you have returned on the eve of the Yule festival. And I have known some dwarves in my short years, and from that I know they would not lightly miss a festival or a chance to feast and drink.
And Vidar kind of has like this smirking smile on his face, and he's nodding in agreement. Oh, that's correct. The food of this festival, It's not one of our festivals, but it's definitely one that I do appreciate.
And the music starts to kick up, and as some more people kind of hang greenery, this hall starts to fill with people. As outside, the sun gets lower and lower towards the horizon, and eventually into the hall come Eravul, Goody, and Arthur.
When they come into the hall, Vidar, the door opens, and Vidar turns to see who's walking in and sees them, and his eyes just light up and widen, and he raises his arms up above his head. Eravul! Goody! Oh, it's so good to see you both. And he just kind of, gives Aglaron a little nod. Arthanor a little nod in acknowledgement, and then goes to kind of hug Goody and Aglaron, or Eravul.
Yeah, Goody will receive the hug and he'll say, Vidar, good friend, the silent foe of all the enemies that stood before us, how have you been? And it's been long since Goody's seen him, because after Goody was not here for the battle. To see Vidar hale and hearty, he's extremely happy and overjoyed.
Oh, Goody. I've got some stories to tell you. There's some adventures that I've taken. Some good stories, I tell you. Oh, if you could have been there, the songs you could have sung.
Oh, I met yet sing the songs of your fortunes and travels. We should talk, and I'll write them down and write songs for you, Vidar.
Yes,
I'm
let's
so glad
drink.
to see you're alive.
Yeah,
And he kind of slaps him on the back.
Yeah, Arvul kind of like he has to bend way down to receive Vidar's hug because he's so tall. And
Vidar kind of tips up a little bit and puts his fat arms around him.
And he's yes, it's good to see you too, Master Vidar. And he kind of claps him on the back as he struggles to straighten. And I have not been here in some days. I'm pleased that the reports I've heard from the scouts are all true.
Well, it depends on the reports you've been given. I would guess they are true. Here we are, healthy and happy.
And he smiles and looks around, being very pleased with the moment of seeing this come to fruition.
Goody's gonna then run up to Berendir and say, "Captain," and he's gonna give him like a false salute. I'm all healthy now, and he kind of puts his arms out and does a full 360-degree turn and like tries to lift his shirt up and see you can barely see the scar anymore.
Berendir kind of staggers back like you're going to run into his knee, which is still ached him the entire trip back. He kind of looks perplexed at your entire course of action. He ultimately just shakes his head. He says, put your foot down. No need to show me that. Says, it's good to see that you're in fine spirits, but I'll be the judge of whether or not your wounds have healed properly.
Well, when I do smoke, it does stay in. Doesn't come out of my stomach now, does it? No holes up here.
Yeah, he lets out a chortle and then quickly gets embarrassed by it.
Aglaron ghosts up to Eravul from a dark corner somewhere, clasps his forearm. Good to see you, friend.
Aglaron, I had not seen you there. Stealthy as ever, even when not attempting to, perhaps. And he smiles.
Aglaron kind of chuckles at that. Spies Goody, reaches over and tousles the halfling's hair. And you, Master Halfling, well met.
We are well met indeed, kind elf. I hope you have been well these past few years.
Indeed.
And Arvel is like, I'm surprised you're still here. Would have expected you to return to Mirkwood.
Someone had to keep an eye on this one, and he kind of elbows Vidar.
Yes, I've heard Vidar has turned into quite the lord with his fortunate finds in the fields.
And at that, Vidar, he overhears him saying Vidar has turned into quite the lord. Vidar kind of whips his head around. He's got a turkey leg in his hand that he's, taking a bite out of as he turns around, and with a mouth half full of food, and he says, "Quite the lord! You should see it." And then he lets out a gruff order, and all of a sudden, in the back of the room, you see 4 armored dwarves snap to attention, the clanking of their armor, and he just kind of laughs to himself. "Yes, I'd say quite the lord. At ease back there." And then they go back to what they were doing before.
Arvel kind of like smiles and shakes his head slightly and says, "Perhaps I should take advice from you how to run a kingdom. Well, a kingdom that doesn't exist, I suppose."
Oh, it will exist. It will.
Indeed, Aragorn says. Take heart, my friend. Cardillon will rise and better days are ahead of us. I'm sure of it. Then he looks over to the corner where Arthanor is kind of sitting there on a bench by himself, kind of excluded from everyone. What of your friend? I sense shadow on his brow. I remember him to be not the life of the party to begin with, but it does seem a great weight hangs upon his shoulders.
Arvel looks at Goody in particular and takes a deep breath. When we last left this place, he took a grievous wound from a Morgul blade, my king. And everybody, if you didn't realize before, like why Arvel would call this guy his king, might not make sense. Depending on what you know. And then he kind of looks at Goody and then back to Aragorn and doesn't say anything else.
Goody kind of once he meets Aragorn face to face, he does a right proper courtesy bow and he says, "Lord Aragorn, this past few years have been difficult for Aravil, but we do try to keep his spirit up." It's
Indeed.
all cheer.
He is owed at least that much. Such a wound is not taken lightly, and indeed, I do not believe I've ever seen one. And his gaze goes a little bit dark, and he says, "So, has Lord Elrond sent you north to partake in the Yule festivals only? What news from Rivendell?"
Arvel nods to Goody to let him deliver the news, since he is closer to Elrond than he is.
Well, yes, Lord Aragorn. To partake in the Yule celebrations is important, and personally, I would say more important to me. But truth be told, we are here to fetch you, for Lord Elrond wishes to seek your presence in his council.
Oh, he looks quite surprised as you begin to speak. He pretty much expects that Eravil would have been the one to relay this message. But he says, "In high esteem of Lord Elrond, there is no doubt. How did a halfling rise so high in that happy valley of Rivendell? These are queer times indeed, when the Lord of Elves of Eregion sends a hobbit to do his bidding."
I'm unsure of the times, Lord Aragorn, but I've been fortunate to be blessed by Lord Elrond's kindness, and his home that he has opened up to me is quite wonderful. This is but a small task I do for him.
And Arvel kind of interjects, seeing that Goody isn't going to expand on just realizing the Hobbit probably is, not really thinking of all the details from maybe the leaf or just the party atmosphere or whatever it says. Yes, my lord, it appears that several of Aglarond's kinsmen have come up from the woods to visit Lord Elrond, bringing with them dwarves, if you can believe it.
Dwarves? And the Sylvan Elves of Mirkwood? Besides Aglarond here, the Elves of Thranduil King are not often seen west of the Mountains of Mist. Queer times indeed. Things seem to compound with every sentence you utter.
Yes, that too. I knew I was forgetting something. All this cake does help me forget things. Sorry about that, Lord Aragorn. But yes, we were to deliver that message as well. Thank you, all of you. And then Goody kind of continues to stuff his face with some more cake.
Yeah, he just kind of pats you on the shoulder.
As this is going on, there's a maiden that does try to at least offer Arthanor some meat and a bread and maybe some sort of fresh fruit.
What kind of fruit is it?
Blueberries.
I'll wave away everything else, but I'll take a small thing of blueberries. Small cup.
Arvel kind of goes and sits down next to Arthanor and sighs and looks at him and says, I know your heart is troubled. And he kind of looks around. But look at this. This is your doing, as much as anyone's.
Perhaps.
I was there, Arthanor. I saw what happened. I know the truth. There's no perhaps.
When these people look to the saviors of this place, the ones who made this Fornost what it is now, I would think they look more to you, to the Hobbit, to Berendir, than they would look at anyone else. This is your victory. I was merely a spectator, it seems.
And Arvel just shakes his head and is like, no, I think they mostly revere Vidar because he's rich and spends money here. Just kinda,
when he mentions Vidar's name, I think Arthanor would immediately look over to Vidar. When he looks over and sees him off in the corner, he's got, that turkey leg in his left hand, and with his right hand, he kind of does a pretend air punch at one of his guards and causes him to flinch and pulls the punch back. And when the guard flinches, Vidar you could see him throwing his head back and laughing and then taking a bite of his turkey leg.
Yeah.
The opulence of dwarves will always amaze me.
Arvel is basically putting a hand over his mouth because he wants to kind of laugh, but he's engaged in a serious conversation, so he's kind of muffling it, and he's just like, Arthanor, lighten up. This is a feast. Have some mead, have some ale, have some wine. Relieve your troubles, at least for a while.
It's not so simple as petty pleasures, Arvel.
And he looks over at Goody and then back, and at least
Goody at this point is standing on one of the tables, and he's laughing and exchanging stories with anybody around, and then he sees in the distance the dour face of Arthanor, and he looks around and sees everybody else celebrating, and he says, Arthanor, a poem for you as I drink and eat. A poem for you, my friend. And he kind of starts singing loudly. Friendship is a lovely gift. It is a constant lift. When you have no joy, someone make you froy. Come in the shelter of friendship, Arthur. Come in the shelter of friendship.
Give me a.
And Arthur, he seems like he's listening as far as for the poem and the merriment and everything, but he's sort of staring past people, eyes wide, as if he was looking at something in the room, but it's not very clear what.
Arv will kind of sighs slightly, and he's like, Goody is the best of all of us. His heart is pure. Look to him for guidance, Arthanar. Use him as an example of how to carry on, if you must.
Yes. Goody has that rare blessing that darkness does not bear him down. It is not tied to his soul like gravity.
And Arvel stands up and, before he departs, looks down at Arthur and says, You have sacrificed much for this victory. No one will forget that, Arthanar. And without letting him respond, walks away.
And Arthur will quietly sit there and eat his blueberries and drink his wine.
So the night wears on, and maybe the next few days, unless Aragorn's thought was to go ahead and stay for the festival and leave after it's over with.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys can RP the festival, or at least maybe if you want to make some rolls, song, or craft, or something fun you want to do. If you guys get 2 out of 3 successes on, if you're doing like a contest of riddles or song or something like that, just small talk, even courtesies would be fine. I will give the fellowship an extra fellowship point to spend for this session.
So Goody would, assuming that there are a lot of other people in this large hall, people of high stature, and so he's going to go to see all of them, see if there are any fine women to dance with, and he'll approach them and ask them for a dance. He'll also sing a few songs whenever he gets the chance.
All right, TN 14.
For courtesy first, to get people to dance with him, and then the song?
Yeah, sure.
Get away from me, short
Better
stick.
you than
Stepping
me.
on them, their toes.
Yeah. So you find that as the only hobbit there, many of the maidens you asked to dance are maybe not quite familiar with the hobbits, or at least one's brash enough to ask them to dance. And so he gets more than his fair share of cold shoulders. Although they do the best they can to be courteous to him. But,
And then when all that happens, Goody looks to Arthur and he says, "Because of you, smile."
Arthur
Yeah,
would just
one
shrug
of them-
and shake his head.
one of them was getting ready to dance with him, but she looked over at his friend sitting in the corner and was just like, ugh, maybe another time.
Vidar, knowing that there are a lot of kids running around too, he decides to go ahead and take some of the logs and takes one of his blades, not of course not his mattock, but maybe another blade that he has, and he starts carving out little trinkets and little kind of statues, that kind of thing, and starts just crafting them for kids as he's sitting around drinking. The kids are running around. As he finishes one, he hands it off to a little kid running by, and just kind of continues doing that throughout the night.
I love it. Craft or all, Chris, if you want to do that.
Oh, no.
Or what? Or
There's a
I'm
session
gonna
where
all these kids.
he used all after his character carved a little. No, I don't like that. Whatever. I don't want to mix it up. But yeah, make your craft roll.
Tien.
14.
Oh yes.
There you go.
Lads, boys, lads.
Yeah. So yeah, you're the hit with all the kids there, and like pretty soon everybody's running around with carved dwarf soldiers and horses, and they're having a kind of a mock battle. And on one of the tables in the center, all the adults are kind of gathered around and laughing and watching the kids that they're kind of reacting. They're kind of recreating the Battle of Fornost and the siege and stuff, and everybody thinks that's great.
One of the carvings doesn't turn out too well, and it's kind of hunched over a little bit. It was just maybe a little mishap, and he's going to hand it to one of the kids, and he points over to Arthur sitting in the corner and kind of points to the carving and nods over that way and says, "You can have this one." Implying that it's a carving of Arthur.
He's saying it to me, or he's saying it to the kid?
No, to the kid. I'm just implying that the hunched over mound of wood is that one over there sitting at the table.
And does anybody else want to do something? Goody, guys. I guess Goody could still do his sing a song if he wants.
Arthur would probably, after he finishes his meal and drink, would probably retire for a bath and then go to sleep afterwards.
We have a new emo in this game. It's no longer me.
100%.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, if Aglaron or Berendir want to do something, I'll go last.
Maybe
He's
not.
gonna try one more song. He's gonna seeing that he's buzzed with all the maidens around. He's gonna okay, maybe my dance cannot get them, but maybe my songs will. And he kind of gets up on all the tables and starts singing the songs of the Battle of Fornost and whatever he knows and all the brave acts that the group did. Oh, please. Yes.
Lads, boys, lads.
Lads, boys, lads.
And then he's getting basically everyone in the, in the hall to sing along, and yeah.
And pretty soon everybody's doing dancing in circles, and up on a couple of the tables, some men are doing a jig, and finally a rather buxom, short, plump side lady with blonde locks asks Goody to dance and says, "I've seen you around. Not shy, are you? How about a dance, Master Hobbit?"
Oh, a dance indeed. And then Goody takes her and starts dancing around the tables.
All right, so your fellowship now has 7 points to spend this session on hope instead of 6.
Nice.
So that's good. Does Arthur want to use one? Does he wake up in a better mood the next day?
I'm tempted to keep this going. No, I'll take some. If people, now let's do the thing where we figure out who needs hope.
We can't do it till the end, right?
That's right, yeah. So
You can do it anytime.
Oh, really?
So to kind of RP that out, the next day morning, Goody will kind of rush to Arthur's room and kind of, rush in and say, Arthur, you wouldn't believe what happened last night. And kind of regale him with the conquests of Goody that previous night with the Tradabux.
I'd stretch and wake up, normally being annoyed that someone had woke me up before 11 a.m., but it's Goody, so I would listen to his story about conquests and congratulate him. It's well done, Master Hobbit. It is clear that you have made yourself attractive among all the species of Middle-earth, for better or worse. Pat him on the head.
Indeed, Arthur. So there is hope, wouldn't you say?
For you, yes.
For you too.
with human maidens? I must admit that I'm curious from time to time.
Are you going to take one of the fellowship points or no? It's up to you.
I suppose. I suppose I should.
All right.
He's
Alright.
enjoying playing emo.
You have to. Well, he's still down there. You can still RP it though.
Oh yeah, I'm still pretty.
So okay, now you have 6 to spend, and I raised his by 1.
Even while taking the hope, he's being emotional about it, I suppose.
Life's been rough, man.
If we're handing out hope right now, Vidar could use some. I think his spirits were lifted last night during the festivities, and the carving of everything for the kids and seeing them happy and running around playing with his crafts. I think would have raised his hope.
All right, I'm going to raise you to 4, and your party's pool is now at 5.
What's everybody's hope at?
2 of 10.
8 of 13.
7 of 11 here.
Or 7 of 11.
15 of 19?
17 or 14. So
Must be nice.
let's give Arthur another one. Or a couple more. Or
Yeah, at least 2 more.
Force feed that hope
Gonna
into
bump
him.
me to 4. Oh my. I'm not gonna be able to keep up
Arthur,
this.
finally being back around all these people and these friends, is kind of raising his hope a little bit, I think.
I'm gonna have to be, well, friends is an interesting term, but but no,
Well, you
yeah.
got all these people you can feel superior to. That should break your right up.
That would probably be the best way to phrase it. Is that I just think I'm better than everyone here. It makes me feel good. It's
But-
like,
so how
got
about
stabbed,
this?
But
like at night before bed, Arvul, like, can I use battle to recount the tale of the Battle of Fornost?
Sounds
That's
like
kind of
Lord,
a-
though.
Yeah.
Or lore?
Kind of a stretch. Yeah.
Well, I was just doing it for
definitely.
role play reasons anyway. But
You know what we could do is you could catch me before I leave, and this could be something that we work in to raise hope for me as well, to feel good about the shit that I did. So you catch me, and then we both go over the battle together with some people.
yeah, so
That could be cool.
basically, as Arthur's leaving, Aragorn like calls attention.
An option.
Oi! All you listen here! And he kind of waves, kind of quiets down the hall, and as
Are we?
Arthur,
I'm sorry. Are we still in the hall, or?
we kind of
it's just-
backed
you
up.
just abstract over to the next 2
Deleted
days.
scene.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
just to make sense of the hope gain, and then he basically calls attention to Arthur. He's this elf here, Arthur. Let me tell you of his deeds, and how this place would not stand if it were not for them. And then he goes to recount the tale, and at the and all Arthur did, like the spiders, which Arvul knows he loves to gloat about. He's trying to feed into Arthur's ego, actually, knowing that was, what he was like when he was, normal. And then,
He was hopeful.
yeah, when he was quote unquote hopeful. And then he states at the end, he's like, and at the end of that battle with I, Arvul, uncrowned king of Cardalon, prince of Arnor, with a blade at my throat, Arthur selflessly leaped in the way, took the blade, and gave himself a grievous wound. The heroics of this one knows no bounds. And then he goes, that sort of thing.
Vidar raises his tankard of ale that he's been drinking. Oh, it's true. I was there. I saw the whole thing with my eyes. That one He deserves all the recognition he can get. Deserves all the praise he can get. That one there, he's a hero, that one. And he takes a swig of his ale.
And Arthur would look around and see that he's gotten a bit of attention. He's like, you tell a fine tale, Arvel, but you miss a few important details, so I will explain this to the crowd further. And so I'd, be that guy and...
Actually, I killed 20 spiders, not 15.
I would tell the correct version,
Right.
but clearly impressed by the attempt.
Aglaron hides sort of a crooked smile as Arthur sort of becomes Arthur again.
And before he departs, Arvel will say something to the effect. I told you they wouldn't forget, and now you've made sure that they won't. This is a victory for all of us. None more so than you.
On that we agree. 100%.
And after this whole exchange and seeing everyone in good spirits, Vidar could stand to become just a little more hopeful.
Do you want me to bump you up to?
I'm putting it out there to the group. I don't know how
Yes,
many we
that's
have
fine.
left.
Go
Who
ahead.
still needs
I
it?
think we have
Go
2
ahead.
left, right?
At this point, now you would have 2. Yeah, 2.
Okay, I'm comfortable where I'm at now.
All right.
Well, I
Anything
guess
else?
I'll take the rest of it. No?
Yeah, sure.
What would I be at? There's 2 left?
Yeah, you would be at
6. Oh my. Oh
6.
baby.
All right,
I'm feeling pretty good about life.
Well, yeah, you've got more than me now.
Yeah.
He just needed that ego boost, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what it was.
I was just waiting. That was what all the pouting was about.
Needed his ego stroked a little bit.
He's been in bed rest for 3 years. So.
Well, he
And,
had to admit something hit him. I mean,
Yeah.
And that next day, after everyone's getting up and stirring, Vidar comes across Goody and Arthanor. Goody said he had gone to Arthanor's place early in the morning to tell him of his night. He runs across the both of them and sees that Arthanor is in better spirits and looking brighter and better. Vidar walks up. Oi, good to see you like this now, Arthanor. I'd say you look quite a bit more chipper now than you did last night. I hate to see that you're depressed. Elves live far too long to be depressed. You're much better off like this, especially for how long you've got to live.
You live far too long to be so happy, dwarf. Where's the doubt?
No, I might live too far too long to be happy, but well, I think I've got the wealth to make it to my old age.
How much money do you have exactly, dwarf? More than all the rest of your kin combined, or more than all Middle-earth has to offer?
Well, that's a rumor we'll have to settle for another day.
Your opulence is disgusting and impressive.
Thank you. Thank you, Master Elf. Thank you. And he kind of pats him on the back very hard. In fact, he lunges forward a little bit as he pats him on the back, and starts walking off back to where we're all meeting.
Arthur just rolls his eyes and pinches the bridge of his nose.
So you guys about ready to roll out in a couple mornings? Head on down to Rivendell.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, where are we heading?
Rivendell.
Holy shit.
Yeah. You have to wait outside, but you do get to come. Yeah, I'm ready.
So as we set out for that journey back to Rivendell, Goody's in like great spirits as he gets to go back to the place he loves, the second most after the Shire. And he says, friends, as we head out, I have a song that I wrote past few days for this very journey and what lies before us. Hope it brings happiness to your hearts and some amount of what's the word I'm looking for? Relief, as the journey may take its toll on us as well. Winding wilderness is the life that we live. On the paths of unknown dreams we weave, gathering figments as we travel into the future, on wheels of hope and light tolling together. Where it takes us is the secret of the future. Map is drawn for everyone that winds, highways, byways marked by turns and milestones. Rest stops are none till journey is done. Deep and dark are the forests we may meet. Challenges are many we face at our best. Win or lose, don't count for the moment as flames are swayed till it's finally burnt. When it ends, the secret of fate's feet, time is set for every heartbeat. Fast or slow, time is on the run. Rest stops are none until the journey is done. And then he takes a big bite of a cake that he has with him.
Very good, Master Hobbit. Very good. What a great start to this morning.
As you guys exit the gates, the greenery is still hung atop the gates of Fornost there, and your horses kind of walk out, and Aragorn's at the front of the column, and he says, I've known too few hobbits in my time, but they always manage to surprise me, not only with their song, but the fact that he's taking cake upon a journey.
And he kind of gives that smirk back to Aragorn, and he says, there is more where that came from, Aragorn. If ever we can stop for levensies.
Aragorn is like kind of riding behind it and kind of shakes his head at Aragorn. If you've ever traveled with a hobbit, you won't go far because they want to stop and eat every few hours, so best cake in his pocket than us stopping every 2 hours.
And he says, as long as he brought enough to share, I suppose the dwarf will need his mouth full from time to time. I'm tired about hearing stories about his famed wealth.
Don't worry, I'm sure he has quite enough ale to keep his mouth full throughout the entirety of our trip.
There's like, the camera pans down like in the rear of the column, and you see the pony that Vidar has, just a big Shetland pony, like, and there's these saddlebags and these kind of casks, kind of clop sloshing around like to the horse. So I'm guessing that you guys are going to be basically rolling down the Greenway towards Bree and then heading straight over.
Yeah, no reason to go off the road, I don't think.
No. It's pretty good these days. It's you've made the region fairly safe. So I did the math. It's a 430-mile journey. It'll take about 7 days, even in the wintertime with the good roads and borderlands that you're going to be crossing. You're going to have to make 2 travel checks at TN 14. But before we do that, everyone can do a lore check to see if they'll have any bonus die.
All right.
Yoli.
Yes.
I'll take some.
Bah.
All right. Ooh, Ian. Call out your name if you succeeded.
Arthur.
Arvel.
I'm keeping track of your checks and your advancement points this time. It's not that I'm going to use. I might just give everybody a flat rate like I have been doing, but I'm going to see how much different it is. So Arthur, you succeeded.
Yep.
Normal success.
Yes. I dolph, but yeah, pretty much.
Aglaron gets one as well.
Aglaron
Really
had a
great
great
success.
success.
Aglaron and Berendir had great successes.
Arvel dolphed.
So they get two. Good rolls so far. I'm not. I'm gonna call my experiment short. I don't want to keep track of this shit.
Lasted for all of about 35 seconds.
I also cursed.
Oh.
So it's a 7-day journey. It's about 3 days down the Greenway, down towards Bree. So why don't we make our first round of travel checks now at a target number of 14.
We need two. We have two, you said?
Two of them you have to make. Yep.
I'll use my bonus die right away.
Same.
Ooh. Dolph.
I'll spin one too.
Woo!
Ah, crap.
I think I did.
Aglaron succeeds. Erevel succeeds.
I got
Great
a
success.
I got a great success.
As did I.
Arthur did not.
Arthur did. I got I rolled my bonus die. I got a 4. It's 14, right?
Oh, okay, yeah. So the only person that didn't pass was Berendir.
Looks like it.
Wait, and Vidar passed.
No, I passed.
Yeah.
Vidar would not fail.
So Berendir, give yourself in the winter 3 travel fatigue.
Is our endurance supposed to be max? Just
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So Berendir takes 3 travel fatigue, and no one rolled a hazard. It's good. All right, you want to do the second check?
is great successes getting us anything on those travel rolls?
It will give you a
Extraordinary.
bonus die.
Yeah, Aglaron has an extraordinary.
Yeah.
I'm spinning my other bonus.
Oh man.
Oh god.
Jesus.
Are you weary?
No,
something?
he's just struggling.
he's just not very good at traveling.
No.
I have 1 point in travel.
It's that knee. That knee's acting up.
It's winter and that knee. Yes, most definitely.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Fuck.
Boy, the second leg of the journey,
I got it.
kicking people's asses.
I got a great success.
Yeah. So basically, it's as you kind of go through the lone lands. Lone lands are. The landscape's not the best, and it's very dreary. And the hunting is not the best, so you have to make do with the stale cake that Goody brought along for the journey.
And then the cake also runs out because Goody does this every time he travels. He doesn't ration well. He kind of eats a little too much in the beginning and then forgets that he has a long way to go. So he starts getting a little weary.
Yeah. So towards the end of the week, everybody just is kind of, waiting for the journey to be over with, and that anticipation of, going into the Bruin Valley and the relaxed, beautiful atmosphere of Rivendell is really making you just want to get the journey over with. So you all get a little fatigued.
I say summer can't come soon enough for my old bones.
Arvel kind of looks at Berendir and nods and says, I have a feeling that whatever this task that Lord Elrond has put us on will require more travel yet, if those accept it.
Hopefully he'll offer us hospitality enough for a night's stay.
Oh, you can be sure of that, Master Berendir.
How much travel fatigue did we take for not passing this?
3.
3.
And then Goody pipes up. Indeed, Captain. You'll have all that the homely home has to offer. It will be most wonderful. Just a few days more, and the waters of Rivendell will heal and soothe those weary bones of yours.
Much as I miss my ocean home, I don't think water is what I need right now. I know very little of Rivendell, but I do remember hearing something of a hall of fire. Huh, I'd like to very much see this hall of fire. Especially given our current weather.
Arvel smiles and nods and then looks back at Vidar and says, Master Vidar, may I suggest less talk about your coin purse when we enter Lord Elrond's domain?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. When was the last time I mentioned my coin?
This morning.
No, well, you might be right about that. Well, that seems like such a long time ago now. I'm so hungry. I could use a drink too, if you ask me. Wait, were we talking about coin?
No. And he kind of gallops up beside Aragorn as they kind of continue along the road.
And you're almost there. You guys descend a stony hill, and you can hear your horse's hooves clip-clopping, and you cross the river Loudwater, and go over the ford there, and then you start your ascent up the mountainside, and there's a path that kind of crisscross and switchbacks and whatnot up to the rim of the Valley of Bruinen, and within that valley is Imladris, also known as Rivendell to the men of Eriador. All right. The journeys along good roads aren't too bad.
Gorgeous art.
No lazy GMing here. It's nearly dusk as the riders cross the river and then descend into the Bruinen Valley. Along the valley's rim, you ride and are able to gaze across the trees. Last you saw them, they were green, but now rich hues of brown and orange light their bows as the sun sets in the west and casts long shadows over the stronghold of the elves in Eregion. Descending further, twinkles of lights blink on in the windows, and long, neat streets wind between homes, stables, and meeting houses. Familiar to you, near the east end of the valley and near a roaring waterfall, is the house of Elrond, the last homely house and one of the most perfect places in Middle-earth. It is dark with stars shining by the time the stable hand takes your horses, and she greets you with a smile. She's a slight elf with hair like ink that hangs about her head in loose tresses and waves. You're just in time for the evening meal, she says. Master Elrond is expecting you. A great surprise and pleasure it is to have your company in this happy valley, she says. Has Vidar ever been here?
No.
Nope.
The rest of you besides Berendir and Vidar then. But there are at least two of you that I do not recognize, and she looks at Berendir. She ignores Vidar, probably because she doesn't know how deep his pockets are. And she introduces herself to Berendir. I am Fassel, and these are my stables. These are strange times indeed when men cross the Bruinen and walk freely in these streets. Here's Fossil. And Berendir, can you attempt at least to make a courtesy check with this elf?
Oh man. I'd assist if I could, but I almost want to see you fail.
Or address her any way that you think you are able to.
Well met, my lady.
Hope it.
Hand her the horse reins and just go, see that they're properly fed and watered.
I look at Berendir with scathing disgust.
Ireville just looks in between them and just kind of does the old temple rub, you know.
Goody will kind of move forward and he'll curtsy properly to Hassel, and he says, "Thank you so much for taking care of our horses. It's good to be back."
Fassel takes the horses and says, "It's good to see you again, Master Hobbit. I heard the news. You now dwell in the upper stories of the Elf Elrond's home. This is a blessing not awarded to many. You must be special indeed." And she takes the reins from Berendir, and then she kind of says, as she leads him away, says, "I was always told that these men of the South were silver-tongued, but this one is a bit gruff."
We've had a long journey.
Indeed, I can see that. Perhaps a pitcher of wine will raise his moods.
It will. And the great hall with the fire roaring, that would definitely lift his spirits.
He took an arrow in the knee once, I believe.
Just kind of shakes his head. Boy, some people, I tell you, some people. And he continues to walk by.
So she takes your horses away and goes about your business, and Aragorn says, "Well, it sounds like we arrived just in time. If there's anything we need more than a warm meal and a hearth, I can't think of it."
I imagine Vidar would say he needs ale, but he'll find only the finest wines here. Such a disappointment for him, I'm sure.
Mine does just as well. I don't mind that.
At least you have some taste, Master Dwarf.
Well, it's probably not good as a good dwarven ale, but an elven wine comes in a close second.
Ireville kind of steps by Arthur and looks down at Vidar and says, "The Lord Elrond's domain is the finest in any lands across Middle-earth that I have seen, Master Dwarf. You will find everything suits you more than you thought it would. No matter your race, men, dwarves, elves, and halflings, all can find solace here."
Well, already I like the looks of this place. I'm not going to argue with you. I am looking forward to this.
And so you make your way down the valley further and eventually kind of hit the main walkway, and you wind in between houses, and overhead the stars are shining, and it's a fairly clear night. And though it's winter, it does seem that at the bottom of this valley that it's not so bitterly cold. It's fairly mild, whether it's by some elvish magic or trick of the weather. There are kind of faint melodies that you can hear coming from some of the homes as you walk through the streets. Eventually you near the last homely house, the House of Elrond, and on the front porch there's an old hobbit sitting there with white hair in a rocking chair, and he's covered in a blanket, and from behind him there's flickering lights coming from the Hall of Fire. And he sees you walking down the street, and he stands up, "Oh, Master Goodwill, so good of you to come back. And you've brought your friends. And he rushes down to meet you. And those of you that have been here know this old hobbit is Bilbo Baggins, who has a room in the upper floors of Elrond's house. And is actually now Goodwill's neighbor.
And then Goodwill will rush up the stairs to meet, not wanting Master Baggins to, exert himself. And he'll rush up and he'll give him a good, tight hug. And he says, "It is so good to be back. Bilbo, it is so good to see you again. Our journey has been long and tiring, but it has been wonderful as well. There was cake and ale and women at Fornost. You would not believe the celebrations we had."
I stay away from the lasses in my old age, but it sounds like a jolly good time. But come now. He's like, I can see there's dust on your cloaks and mud on your boots, and I can hear your bellies rumbling from here. Come inside. Dinner is about to be served. Master Elrond will be overjoyed that you're here. And he looks to Elrond and says, or Aragorn says, "My lord," and he also gives a bow to the others present.
And Vidar just kind of acknowledges him, nods his head towards him, wondering if he's heard that name before.
Who's that? Elrond?
No, good, Bilbo.
Bilbo. Yeah, why don't you roll a lore check? TN 12, though. It'd be pretty easy since you're from the Iron Hills. You probably knew of this guy.
Too busy counting. Too busy.
Is this the housekeeper?
Yeah, too busy counting coins in his mind.
He sees that shiny gold ring on your finger, and he goes to that feral ghoul face of his.
Bilbo sees Vidar eyeing him, and kind of gets a little uncomfortable. He says to Goody, "Is that dwarf a friend of yours?" He's eyeing me, and I get the most uncomfortable feeling about it. I wouldn't trust him.
Bilbo, he's all right. He's with us. He has had a long journey and has not had his ale in many a days. He is now just dry like one of those twigs in the forest. He needs some liquid in him, and he'll be back to his normal, gracious self.
Well, I dare say, these dwarves, their dour mood, they can go from jolly to downright nasty in the turn of on the drop of a dime, and they're known to be greedy. He may be a good dwarf now, or so you think, but I sense something mischievous in him. And he kind of, Bilbo's, has recounting how Thorin Oakenshield was overtaken by dragon sickness, and some dwarfs he's a little bit untrusting of, and for some reason, Vidar has not made a good introduction, so... So they invite you inside, and as you come in, there's some elves playing music in the doorway, some woodwinds, and a harp is playing. And to the left, you see the Hall of Fire and the tables being set. And inside, you can see lots of elves gathered around, and also some visitors that are not typically in Imladris, and they're all getting ready to eat. And Elrond says, good of you to arrive. Our scouts reported that you were very close. No doubt you are famished.
And Goody kind of steps forward and bows deeply at Lord Elrond. And he says, "Indeed, we are, Lord Elrond. The last few days have been indeed difficult. They refused to stop for levensies and lunch. Just breakfast and dinner is what all we did. It has been difficult."
Traveling with hobbits, I'm sure, isn't an acquired taste, he says. But I just count myself fortunate enough, my friend Goodwill, that I've known the likes of you and Bilbo. Come now, your chair awaits, and he looks at the table, and Goodwill Took actually has his own chair there at the table. It's a little bit smaller than the other ones, and it's raised from the floor, however, so he can reach the table.
like a high chair.
Yeah,
Good
it's a
child
hobbit,
seat.
a hobbit high chair.
And you would have noticed that Goodwill, when anybody mentions about this this fortune that he has received and this title that he has received, he would just kind of blush and kind of smile and look away. As still he feels he doesn't know how to react to these gestures, but he'd be most happy to sit at the table beside Lord Elrond and enjoy the food.
Did you take elf friend?
Yep.
Yeah, I figured. Cool.
Friend of Elrond, I think, is what you did, right?
Yeah, friend of Elrond.
It's one of the ones you can do only when you're in the Melandris.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Damn. So they're walking to a hall, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So as they're walking to a hall and Goody is taking his seat, Vidar kind of barks an order, and as he does that, his 4 guard stand at attention outside the hall, and he continues walking in, waiting to find his seat.
Berendir, coming from Dol Amroth, Minas Tirith, and all that region around there, he's not out of sorts around elven influence whatsoever. So, he'll kind of shrug off the music because he doesn't really care for the frivolity of informality. He's more of a rigid code type. And as he walks, he will, of course, snap to a stance of reverence when Lord Elrond comes in, and he'll actually greet him in broken, like hybrid elven, whatever the hell the men of Dol Amroth speak. He'll snap and he'll go, "Le Sulang, Lord Elrond. I've heard many stories of this place. None of them do the place justice."
I'm very glad to hear it. Hopefully the stories do not disappoint. We dwell here and keep to ourselves. This is a timeless place. But enough of me. I'm very glad that you're here. I've heard tales of your valor, Berendir. If only more of the men in the south had such heart as yourself.
I'm but an old man following orders.
Well, you do it well. Come now, he says. All of you are welcome at my table. We will have a meal, some music, but then as the evening wears on, unfortunately, we have other darker matters to discuss, he kind of says ominously. So, the feast kind of continues, and there's smoke and drink and some riddle contests maybe, and the mood is pretty light. So, anybody else want to do any RP here before we move on?
Vidar leans over to Eroville. Oh, yeah. Lord Elrond, and he kind of like is under his breath. I probably should have asked this before we got here, but what are we doing here?
Arvel says, "I could not say. Lord Elrond requested that we all come back here. There are visitors from Mirkwood and a dwarf that I do not recognize here. In Rivendell, it is peculiar. Something is afoot. Something that troubles me. And something that I feel will draw us again into the world."
Well, it may draw us into the world, but by God, man, we are already in the world. I guess we best make an impact while we're in it.
He kind of chuckles and... I meant the wilds, of course. The dangers. The shadow that grows. Aye, we beat back the shadow at Fornost. But I have a suspicion that we are not done with whatever lies in the shadow waiting to reveal itself.
Well, the fact that I'm here, me, a dwarf, in Rivendell, I'd have to agree with you. I think something's afoot and we're just a small part of it. But I'm here with you. I'm here with that little hobbit there. He's a good one. I'm here with the rest of these lads. I'm gonna enjoy this. Doesn't matter how it turns out. I'm glad to be here with you folk.
Arvel nods. Yes. Drink your fill. Eat what you may. Lord Elrond is generous, for certain. My days here have been spent peacefully and happily, even though my heart belongs elsewhere. And he just kind of puts a hand upon your shoulders, showing some of his former moroseness for a brief moment, and then smiles and goes back to his wine.
Oh, yes. I guess for men like us, our hearts always do belong somewhere else other than where we're at currently. Just seems to be the way it goes. And he goes ahead and he kind of nods his head and drinks his wine along with Erevel.
Yeah.
All right.
Berendir gets the green light for R&R being approved. He promptly finds the closest chair next to the fire. And he begins looking around for an ottoman, a footstool. Promptly throws his leg out and just retires. And if somebody offers a blanket, he'll just take it graciously. He'll adopt the grandpa pose.
Yeah.
Just curl up and doze in front of the fire and try to get as much rest as he can.
Hands on his stomach,
Yeah.
interlaced fingers. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
if that degenerates into what it is, I just shake my head.
Yeah, as the table is kind of littered with food, and some servants are kind of clearing it all off, and pitchers of wine are taken away, and folks are starting to have a smoke next to the hearth, and people are exchanging stories. Elrond kind of smiles and looks over to Berendir and says, "Don't get too comfortable, my friend." And he kind of says, "Come now. There is time for song and for laughter and mirth, but this must be tempered with firmness and resolve. All of you, well, we have business to discuss. Please proceed to my balcony, and after dinner smoke may keep the shadows at bay, but we have much that is dark to discuss." And he gives a nod to Umil Greycloak. He is a dwarf of the Iron Hills on the other side of the table. You may have made some small talk with thus far, but he's been pretty quiet. And then there's also a dwarf or an elf, maybe a few places down at the table from him, whose name is Remdir. And just like Aglaron, he's from Mirkwood, from the halls of King Thranduil. And Elrond and those two kind of start to filter upstairs to the balcony.
Yeah, Arvel would approach Aglaron and ask, "Do you know this one?"
Only in passing. He ponders for a moment. I've heard he's a good man.
Yeah, you've known of Remdir. He is he's basically a messenger. He ranges far and wide, and keeps tabs throughout Wilderland, and does Thranduil's bidding. But just like you, he's kind of more at home abroad than at home in the halls of Thranduil.
Yeah, and Aragorn's like, and King Thranduil would send him here. I wonder why.
At that, Aglaron chuckles, says, "And the business of kings." He shakes his head. "I have no idea."
And during the course of all of this, Vidar would have obviously, after a couple of tankards of wine, he would have made contact with, what did you say his name was? I'm sorry?
Umil Greycloak.
Umil Greycloak. And obviously approached him at some point during the evening to make introductions and see where he was from and what his business was, and just to let him know that as far as fellow kinsmen, he's all glad to see him.
And we'll just have a little side scene. So Umil kind of gives Vidar a very hearty handshake. Their gauntlets meet and they clasp each other in the forearm. He says, "Well met, Vidar. Fancy seeing you here."
Aye. I never thought I'd be here either. But even less than me, I never thought I'd see you here. What are you doing here?
I suspect some reverence is in order, and he gives you a nod. Says, "You're doing quite well for yourself, I understand, and I couldn't be more happy. Unfortunately, we have dark dealings to discuss. King Dain, King of the Iron Hills, sent me here. I suspect I'm of a mind with this elf. Some shadowy things have been happening near the Iron Hills, and we mean to get to the bottom of it. He seeks Lord Elrond's counsel, and, well, I'll speak no more of it now, for the same reason that your messenger friends were kept in the dark. It's information that if falls into the hands of the enemy, well, we would be at a disadvantage."
Aye, well, I understand that. There are proper channels to go about these things. We are both men of war. I do understand that, and I'm ready to hear what's going to be laid upon us. If you're here, I know that whatever's happening is serious business. We are ready to take on this serious business.
Yes indeed. Come now, we will follow Lord Elrond. Go upstairs to his private balcony and bring some of that after dinner cordial with you, if you could.
Oh,
It
I
warms the
will.
belly. So he disappears upstairs, and upstairs they're kind of sitting around in the dark with a small fire gathered around and the stars twinkling overhead. Elrond says, "Thank you all for gathering here. I will soon let Umil and Remdir speak. It seems that a shadow again stirs in the east. According to reports, Mirkwood has again grown gloomy, and wicked things, once thought defeated, have again made their dwelling there. What's more, there are riders, and I grow concerned that the Nine are abroad." And some people want to make a lore check if you can.
Sure. I'm all about lore.
I'm gonna say that Aglaron has the highest.
Even though Berendir rolled a great success?
Berendir, Berendir had a great success. You're right. Yeah, you are correct, sir. So Berendir, you've heard tales, in Gondor, down at Dol Amroth. You're closer to the enemy than anyone else. And there are tales told of the 9 men, the kings of men that were doomed by the rings gifted by Sauron. And there have been tales, and some say they're just meant to scare small children, but tales of 9 dark riders, 9 ring wraiths, who, in times of evil, issue forth from the land of shadow to do their master's bidding. So I guess you just relay that to folks. All right, so I guess Umil,
Is he even here?
I don't know. I've never known
Yeah,
Ian.
he's struggling with his gut, I think.
I don't think I've never seen Ian lost for words. So,
Okay.
but yeah, Barondir just looks dismayed, I suppose, as there's mention of this fact. And so Umil steps forth first to kind of lay out the situation. And he's holding his hands over the fire, warming them as he speaks. And he says, "Last year, a messenger came to King Dain, but not from Moria, from Mordor. A horseman in the night who called Lord Dain to his gate. The Lord Sauron the Great, so he said, wished for our friendship. Rings he would give for it, such as he gave of old. And he asked urgently concerning hobbits, of what kind they were and where they dwelt." So Umil's gaze falls upon Goody. "For Sauron knows," said he, "that one of these was known to you on a time. At this, our kin were greatly troubled, but we gave no answer." But then the rider's fell voice was lowered, and he would have sweetened it if he could. The rider says, "As a small token for your friendship, Sauron asks this," he said, "that you should find this thief," such was his word, "and get from him, willing or no, a little ring, the least of rings, that once he stole. It is but a trifle that Sauron fancies, and the earnest of your goodwill. Find it, and 3 rings that the dwarf sires possessed of old shall be returned to you, and the realm of Moria shall be yours forever. Find only news of the thief, whether he still lives and where, and you shall have great reward and lasting friendship from the Lord. Refuse, and things will seem not so well. Do you refuse?" And so Umil's relaying this story. He says, "At this, his breath came like the hiss of snakes, and all who stood by shuddered. But Dain said, 'I say neither yea or nay. I must consider this message and what it means under this fair cloak.' And then the rider replied, 'Consider well, but not too long,' said he. 'The time of my thought is my own to spend,' answered Dain. 'For the present,' said he, and the rider rode into darkness." And then Umil continues, "Heavy have the hearts of our chieftains been since that night. We needed not the fell voice of that messenger to warn us that his words held both menace and deceit. For we knew already that the power has re-entered Mordor, it has not changed, and ever it betrayed us as of old. Twice the messenger had returned, and has gone unanswered. The third and last time, so he says, is soon to come, before the ending of the year." And he's silent. And then Remdir kind of steps forward and says, "Your words echo in my ears, Umil Greycloak. For the story I tell is not so different. Within this past year, we, too, have seen strangers on our borders, and also have been visited by this fell-voiced rider in black. Whether he be the same man, if man he is immaterial." And then Remdir shakes his head. "It's been long ages since the name of the Dark Lord has been spoken openly near the halls of Thranduil King. The rider was rebuffed, but his persistent bodes ill. What of this trifling thing that the Lord of Mordor desires?" And then Elrond answers and says, That topic is best left fallow, Remdir of Mirkwood, that once was Greenwood the Great. And he seems to want to stay away from this topic. He says, in time we'll speak of it, but not before Gandalf, known as Mithrandir, gets to the bottom of the matter. For even now he rides south to the ancient halls of learning in the land of Gondor. It is clear, though, that we must not let this news fall on deaf ears. He looks up to the company of the Kingsfill and says, I know you have just finished a feast in merrymaking. 3 years ago you won a great victory. Much has been asked of you, but another task is required if you would not refuse the quest of the Lord of this house. I ask you to travel east over the mountains of mist to Rovanion. There, gain what knowledge you can of the state of things, and do what you can to set it right. Return here when you feel it prudent. Perhaps Mithrandir will have confirmed or refuted his suspicions at that point. Then he looks to Aragorn. Son of Arathorn, you must remain here in Eriador. Your gaze and protection is needed to the west. The Shire, and all that is good within it, must remain unmarred. Aragorn just nods silently. Looks to the rest of you for comment.
Vidar kind of looks sideways towards Erebul to get his reaction.
Yeah,
Goody is sitting silent at his chair, puffing away at some of, at his long bottom. When he's heard that somebody's looking for hobbits, and there's this concern on his face that people from the Shire may be being hunted.
Yeah, so Aravul stands up and says, My Lord Elrond, of course, I will do as you wish. Rovanion, and he kind of thinks about that because Eriador is his domain. He's completely out of his league there. And he looks at the others and then looks back to Lord Elrond and says, I know that we are always thinking from these tales, but a hobbit? A Sauron seeks a hobbit? Why? What has been stolen? A ring? What ring?
Elrond looks at Aravul and says, again, these are topics that we will not discuss as of yet. Perhaps our suspicions are folly, and I hope that is the case. But for now, suffice it to say that we do not want the enemy to find what he seeks. Indeed, the fate of all Middle-earth may hang in the balance.
And at that point, Goodwill kind of speaks up and says, Lord Elrond, did you say Rovian?
Rovanion, Wilderland.
Rovanion. What has occurred at Rovanion that we must go there and set right?
Excuse me, you cut out there for a second.
Oh, so Goodwill kind of looks up to Lord Elrond and he says, what has occurred at Rovanion that we must go there and set right?
Well, basically, he basically wants you to go there to just figure out what the situation is, and if you see that something's amiss, he doesn't know. This is, news travels extremely slow, in this universe. So he just knows that some bad things are going on. These riders in black are about. They're asking a lot of questions, and he needs to know more information.
Okay, I see. No, I was I was kind of concentrated on Dane and that whole thing. I didn't know the riders were also in Rowan.
Yep.
Yeah, so Iron Hills and Mirkwood are both considered Rovanion. Rovanian's like Eriador, so a large region.
Yeah. Rovanion is basically everything kind of east of the Misty Mountains. Mirkwood, the Bjornings, the Anduin Vales, Dale, the Long Lake, Lonely Mountains. the
okay.
Iron Hills, Dol Guldur, Lorien, even
Okay.
all over there. So
So Arvel nods. At least we have Aglaron as a guide. He will know the area better than any of us. If he will come with me.
Aglaron nods. Of course.
He kind of starts
Oh,
looking.
and what word of Dane? Do we know his will? Do we know how he has set his mind? Does he want to seek out this hobbit as well? Does he really want to give this information to the Dark Lord?
of course not, Vidar. You know our king as well as I do. It is but a stalling tactic. He sensed that this Black Rider's words, however, were not untrue. That, indeed, if he was rebuffed, well, it could prove very difficult for the dwarves of the Iron Hill. And so he is biding his time, putting off the rider for as long as he can.
Oh, this is a dark time. Just yesterday it was festivities, merriment, singing, and happiness. And today, well, today it's not.
I would very much like to give these riders an answer of steel. Perhaps we will run across them.
I too shall join this
Vice,
expedition.
says Aragorn, and he stands and says, if you see these riders, steel will not harm them. If you see them, you should run and pray that they do not find you. As Elrond says, bring back news. But be wise, Arthanur. Your life is precious, as you just discovered or rediscovered. Please don't throw it away.
I would never intend to.
And
And with that-
Arvel looks at Arthur and says, I hope I did not stroke your ego too much, and Fornost.
You merely instilled me with the confidence that I need.
Well, good then. I can't have you moping around if we're to travel together. I want the spiteful, annoying Arthur. The one that can kill 20 spiders and take a Morgul blade.
I heard it was 30 spiders.
Please do not brown-nose me in front of my lord.
Oh, I'm just saying it's what I heard.
Arvel kind of smiles and turns back to Lord Elrond and says, well then, it seems to be all of us, and he looks at Goody and except Goodwill, of course. And Arvel looks with some concern on his face.
Why accept goodwill, Arvel? I am a member of this group as well as any one of you. Indeed, I may not be able to fight as well, but I do have my uses.
Of course, Goody. I only worry for your safety.
And I do yours as well as everybody else over here. But the Shire must be protected as well as Eriador and everything else from the Shadow. No, I will join you on this expedition, for it is a hobbit that they're looking for now,
And
and it's a hobbit that will stand in the way.
and he thinks for a moment and nods and says, I hate to say this, Master Tuk, but you will draw attention to us.
That may be so, and in that case we will find out why they need to find a hobbit, and we will know the answers sooner than later. It might be wise to use me and find out what the enemy wants. It's in times like this that everyone should gather some courage. And what do I have to fear when I have the rest of you around me? Nothing. No fear whatsoever.
Arvel smiles, and I wished I could say the same. And he looks back to Lord Elrond and Lord Aragorn and nods. And I will go to the east, as you have bid us. And I believe I have my fellowship.
Indeed, it seems you have. He rises and turns to go. Aragorn has already left. And he says, "This journey is not to be taken lightly. At least you will have some respite. I recommend you stay here until spring arrives. For the high pass is treacherous and not to be traversed in midwinter."
Of course, my lord. We shall plan our journey carefully in the months to come.
Oh, you can count on me, Aravil. You can count on my Matic. We'll make sure that this gets done.
And he nods. I count on each and every one of you, as I have for years now.
All right. So in the coming months, you guys plan your journey, and you gather supplies and plan your route. If everybody wants to change their traveling gear to spring/summer, I believe that the encumbrance is 2 rather than 3.
Yes, please.
And if you have any travel fatigue, that'll be gone after that stay.
Yeah, that's why I went ahead and took it. I figured it would be gone after that stay.
Mm-hmm.
For a split second, I thought about using hope. I was like, wait, no, we're going to
Don't
Rivendell.
you dare do that.
Yeah, we're going to Rivendell. I'm sure that travel fatigue will go away.
So I'm guessing that the route you're going to choose, there basically are, 2 well-known ways, kind of, unless you go all the way to the bottom of the mountains. There's 2 ways across. One's the high pass here, and that is a well-traveled road. Parts of it are indeed in ruin, and so
we're currently over here. Correct? Oh yeah, we're in Rivendell.
You're in Rivendell. The other one is the Red Horn Pass down here. That is going to be out of your way and take you down in the southern realm of Rovanion, and a little bit further from the Iron Hills and from the Elven King's halls. So I suspect, and you guys can correct me if you want, but I suspect you're going to be kind of heading up through the foothills, through the Troshals, up through the high pass, and then down, and you hit the old forest road as well. And then from there, you can just kind of decide what you want to do.
Yeah, I think the most direct route is probably the best at this point. We need to get there and figure out what's going on. That's the way he would. Aravil would consult with Aglaron, but that would be his intention unless he's told otherwise.
Well, if speed is your goal, my friend, then the direct route is the only way to go.
Yeah.
I agree. The most direct path is the best path.
And Aravil nods, and so be it then. Over the high pass we shall go. And he looks to Goody and says, "Stay close to others. There might not be a snow melt yet. Do not know what we will find there."
Indeed, Lord Arvel. I shall stick close and keep an eye about. This hobbit will not fall behind or be a cause of failure to this fellowship.
No, that I am sure. Well, I never thought I would see east of Rivendell myself. It is time to explore new things and see wonders that we would never have considered. Then.
I have to admit, I don't like going through the likes of Mirkwood. Not one bit. I heard them evil elves living there. The ones that just don't care about anyone. Not like those Rivendell elves. These ones are wild.
Arvel looks at Aglaron and he's like, aye, quite the savages. They eat dwarf meat too.
You think so?
Agron kind of wrinkles his nose at that.
Well, I hope that's not the truth.
Don't worry, Master Dwarf, you're quite spoiled. I'm sure they won't take to you whatsoever.
And he looks to his four guards. You fools stay close to me. Don't need to be eaten by no elf.
Arvel just shakes his head. Courtesy, Master Dwarf, if we encounter any elves, or anyone for that matter.
Yes.
Show some.
What shall you do, should we encounter anyone for that matter?
I say courtesy, Master Dwarf.
No, well, I misunderstood that. My apologies.
Here's a Q-tip. Clean out your ears. Oh. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, so comes the morning of April 10th. It's 3014 now. It's in the new year. So April 10th, 2014, you set out from Rivendell. So everybody make their lore checks. I'll roll for Barondir.
Oh, lads, boys, lads, here we go again. Let's go walking.
Barondir has...
Well,
Let's
everybody's
not go
failed
walking.
except Goody so far. Good start.
Goody has 2 bonus die.
What are we doing? Lore?
Yep.
Man.
Vidar has no bonus die.
You fell for that wood elf comment that they eat people, so
Yeah, so I'm like completely nervous walking
you
in
don't know
this
shit about
direction.
that region apparently.
I'm paranoid about heading further east.
Goody is a little kind of a little hot under his collar. This constant questioning of his abilities, and he wants to prove himself that he can be just as a fully participating member of this group like anybody else. So he's like paying attention and walking at a brisk pace with everyone else.
Yeah, in truth, Arvel's probably a little nervous for this trip. I mean, this is so far out of his comfort zone.
Oh,
Ooh.
that looks a bit scary.
So you guys head out of Rivendell, and this is going to be a lot more arduous of a journey, even in the spring. First leg of the journey, you're kind of going up the hills, and you strike the Great East Road, and it starts to go up into the Misty Mountains, and eventually the elm trees and birches of Rivendell fade, and either side of the path is strewn with down trees or coniferous trees, firs and whatnot. In the spring, there's a snow melt from up on the mountains, and so it's a muddy slog as you go around, and eventually you kind of finally make your way up into the mountains. So this journey is going to have two checks, both at 16.
Oh,
According to my math.
time to doff.
So let's just roll them one by one. I'll call them out and just kind of RP how you're doing. Let's say Vidar, you go first. You don't have any bonus die, correct?
I do not.
All right. Boom. Vidar. Vidar's doing well.
Just one foot in front of the other, just kind of slogging through the mud, but pushing through it with his stout stature, not getting winded just yet. Just go ahead and just kind of forcing his way through.
And Barondir. Roll his. Ooh. Fail. Spring, you only take 2 fatigue though, so you want to make Mark travel fatigue at 2. There you go. So Barondir's, as he gets into the high altitude, his knees starting to act up, and more often than not, you see Barondir kind of towards the back of the column, and he's grumbles from time to time, but his soldierly manner prods him ever onward, and he keeps up with you guys, but looks a little haggard. And Aglaron. Hazard. Roll travel, Aglaron.
All right.
Oh
wow.
Hazard's here.
You can pass that off too, can't you?
Just that
Yep.
uttered fucking dominance.
So you succeed, and you can pass a bonus die to somebody else if you'd like.
All right. Well, who desperately needs a bonus die?
I'm
You
welcome
can
with
choose
2.
any one of us.
Yeah.
Barondir on his next travel roll, you could probably use it.
Yeah, Baron do.
All right, that works.
All right, Goody.
Yeah. Please travel roll.
2 travel.
Technically, you rolled a
fatigue.
6.
It doesn't matter. The bonus won't even make a difference.
No, I'm just fucking with you.
So yeah, Goody's he's having a tough time. It's like the higher they keep climbing, his short feet are having a tough time keeping up with everybody else, and he's slowly falling behind.
And Arthur.
2 travel fatigue, correct?
Oh shit, no,
Yes.
cancel it. Oh fuck, okay. Okay.
There it
I
is.
think I took the hope earlier.
All right, so Arthur, there should be a clickable macro that just says hazard. Look out, man. Okay, so
These are lookout.
who has the best awareness?
That's probably me.
So you would probably be the lookout man on this journey, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I have 4 awareness. Or no, I have 3.
3. All right, so I want you to make an awareness check
Okay.
at DC or TN 14. See
Okay.
what we do.
Actually, even I have awareness, but it's okay. Future
Let me see what would have happened. Oh boy. So basically, what happens is one day it starts to rain, and the rain's coming down hard, and you're up probably midway through your journey in the high pass, and there's torrential downpour, and some of the path is starting to get loose under your feet. And there's one part in particular that's like an old ancient bridge that's constructed over a chasm, and as you start to go across it, you notice that some of the flagstones under your feet are starting to crumble. And so kind of at the last minute you say, this is going to take more time, but we need to go down the ravine and back up on the other side so we all don't topple to our deaths. All right, so nobody takes any fatigue from that one, except Arthur from the fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, you give yourself 2. And then Erevel.
16.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
2 travel fatigue.
Yeah,
So close.
Arvel is having issues because he is just so tall and broad. The wind is just like banging on him, and he's having a hard time like moving forward at a steady pace, and he's having to fight against the headwind the entire time. And he kind of hunches down and tries to push through it, but it's difficult.
That storm passes and it clears. It clears for a few days, but now you're all the way at the top of the mountains, kind of, and eventually you kind of cross the divide, and now you see that you've camped several nights, and now your path is gently, slowly but surely going downwards. A lot of switchbacks in your path, and from now and again there are some ancient steps that have been hewn from the stone, and there's even what looks like the ruins and old settlements on either side. And can someone do a lore check?
Sure.
It's just for flavor.
Great success.
Arthur, a great success. We'll give you that one. So you know that back in the days of old, when the kingdom of Arthedain and Cardoon, and there was just a lot of trade between Wilderland and Dale and the Anduin Vales and the northern kingdom of Arnor. And this road is kind of in ruins now and pockmarked and overgrown. But back in the day, there used to be, settlements even up in these mountains. They were settled, and what you're passing are these ruins.
I do believe that your kingdom used to have some settlements here, or what it once was, anyway.
He doesn't look overly surprised, but nods. Yes, I knew there was plenty of trade from east to west, but settlements in the mountains. Huh. I had not known.
Perhaps there will be once again, if you ever reach your potential.
Well, if I wasn't stuck leading you across all of Middle Earth.
All right, let's do our second leg of this journey here. Vidar, you're up.
I don't know if he's there.
He went to poop.
Let's have Barondir go first here. So he's going to roll his, he'll use his bonus die on this.
Good call.
Very cool.
All right, let's roll that d6.
Get that 5.
66% chance. No. He does need a 5, doesn't he? So it's...
Yep. Yeah. So Barondir is looking more and more haggard, and he stops the group a few times and has to rest because his knees bother him.
Say, is that me?
Yeah. Oh wow, 27 total fatigue on Barondir. All right, Vidar.
So Vidar kind of tries to push through. What's the TN? I'm sorry.
16.
16? I thought we were going downhill now.
Still difficult.
Still
Slippery.
So downhill, his short legs don't work quite as well as going uphill.
Oh god.
Yeah, I guess
Not so much.
Suppose not.
It's all that weight and money he's carrying.
Yeah. Oh god.
I'm not carrying my money with me.
I'm giving you grief.
give yourself.
I like how he made that very clear after we rolled this hazard.
All
I don't
right,
have my
Vidar,
money, I don't
Give
have my
yourself
money.
2 travel fatigue and roll a hazard. Should be just left of your matic. I'm sure you know where that button is.
Oh yeah. Travel fatigue. Where am I?
Under endurance.
No, click.
Yep.
Click your token and hit roll the hazard.
I'm sorry. I'm.
He's trying to figure out where to put the travel fatigue. It's at
I'll
the
take care
bottom.
of it.
No. I got travel fatigue.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out how to hit the.
It's a macro.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry. Let me
No, you're fine.
get out of there then. Okay, there we go. Hazard.
Oh shit.
Guy.
Who's the guy?
Yeah,
It's
that-
probably him.
It's him, yeah.
Who's
Guy.
is it travel?
Yeah, it's usually the person with the best travel.
And oh no.
Is that Vidar?
Yes.
All right, so make a travel check. 14.
Travel check at 14. You said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nailed it. Let's see what would have happened.
No, I don't want to know what would have happened.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that's all right. So basically, as a guide, you're one of the switchbacks. You lose the trail, but you have your travel skills good enough that you still lead them through the mountains, and you're able to pick up the trail on the other side of the where it's been broken. So
Oh, it's right over here, lads. Right over here. Haven't lost sight of it for one moment. And he kind of like shakes his head. Oy.
Aglaron.
Now it's the time for a bunch of sixes, please.
And
One.
one.
Boom. That's without his bonus die. So Aglaron, you can pass along that. You can pass along 2 now.
I would give them to the first 2, and hopefully they can generate some more bonus die.
Yeah, we can maybe not fucking suck.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So you want to give them to Goody?
No, I already have 2.
I know you can have more.
Yeah,
Oh.
it doesn't matter though, because if this is the last travel check, if you had 4, then you rolled,
Yeah.
and then you can roll each of them and hopefully generate some more bonus die for Arthema. And then
Oh,
same for me, you know, right?
Okay. Okay, so here's the base travel check.
That was meta right there.
Yeah,
Oh
Oh.
my god. Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Great. Yeah, meta fucking worked out real good.
hmm That's the worst thing that could happen, pretty much.
So that basically wastes them all.
Yep.
I blame Tet for that.
Mhm.
All right, give yourself 2 travel fatigue and roll your look out, man.
Hey, look who it is.
I'll roll awareness on this one because I actually have awareness as a favorite skill. And
Okay.
yeah, on that, so.
Oh,
Oh,
That's 2 1s.
that's
2
almost
4s.
hope worthy.
can you hope it?
How much? This is
It's
body.
a
right?
favorite skill, right?
Awareness is body.
Yeah, so it still be 13.
Can't make it.
Oh
Oh,
man.
fuck.
I
see
still could have. Yeah, that was probably.
I can't believe you did. Oh.
Lose 2 hope. Oh my god.
Yeah. So Goody, you lose 1 point of hope.
That was
One
an
or two?
eye.
No, it'd be an eye. He had to roll eye for
Oh,
awareness.
okay.
Yeah, he had
Oh, yeah.
all awry for the awareness. So Goody, you lose 1 point of hope. So, actually, as a lookout man on one of these nights, you guys camp near the. This is actually from the book, so that's good. You guys camp near one of these ruins, and you feel like you see shades, like you see specters of long dead travelers going back and forth along the road, and then you sleep very fitfully that night, and you have nightmares of these travelers being waylaid by goblins, and you see arrows and throats and bodies hewn on the ground, and you don't sleep that night, and you rest all the worse for the wear.
Yeah, and Goody is like, tossing and turning, and then basically almost one eye. And now and then he kind of gets up with a jolt and looks around, and the shadows and the wind is playing tricks on his mind. He goes back to sleep, but the next day he's now even further behind from the group, almost behind, tracking Berendir, keeping Berendir in his sights all the time, walking.
Arthur.
I think we've rolled more eyes than Dolph's, boys.
Definitely.
Let's go ahead and add to that total. If only I had bonus die. Oh!
Nice.
I do
I still
though.
fail.
Oh
but-
no. Yeah, you
I
do.
could hope it though. Yeah.
Good.
You could hope it, and then you would have.
And then
that
I get a
extra-
bonus
extra-
die for
yeah,
tests
that
that
bonus
we
die to
have.
pass on. Yeah.
But does he deserve it? Yeah, I'll hope it. I'll hope it.
You know he
Have my
doesn't.
bonus. That's what is a travel's body?
Is it body?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I mean, I would pass that with flying colors.
Travel. Travel is heart.
It's a heart. Ooh,
Travel is
barely
heart.
pass it then, but I still pass it.
All right, Erebol, you get a bonus die.
Good.
Mm.
Well, here we go.
You need it.
Oh my god.
Oh, dirty.
Just sure.
Dirty.
I'm gonna use
sure.
my hope.
Yeah.
So no travel fatigue then.
Yeah.
Oh god, we suck.
Yeah. Arvel just, come on, let's fight through this. We're almost there. Watch your feet. Watch your steps. And he kind of like will stop and basically let everybody get in front of him before he continues to walk. And Aglaron, you take the lead.
Aglaron pushes forward to the front of the group.
And
He's
Arvel,
looking for the easiest way, the rest of the way up the hill.
yeah.
Mountain, rather.
Arvel puts his hand on Goody's shoulder and he's like, "Steady, Master Hobbit, we're almost there."
Yeah, so you're on your way down, and again, you're kind of going from ledge to ledge, and every once in a while you have to lower each other down as the road is broken or the steps have been eroded away. And again, the wind picks up, and one of those spring thunderstorms rolls in, and there's clouds gathering overhead, and it's completely dark, and you can't even hear the birds, and it's just a torrential downpour. And unfortunately, you're almost down to the bottom, and then there's a giant rock slide that like completely blocks the path. And only way you can see down around you is a series of narrow ledges that descend the sheer rock face and down to like there's a secondary path all the way at the bottom of the ravine below. And there's a small little creek that's trickling there. So.
And with no explanation and no comment to anyone, Vidar, especially after almost losing that pass, leading everyone, knowing how winded he got and how turned around he got, he just blankly and without thought really pulls the short sword that he has out of his scabbard and he sticks it in the ground and walks off without it.
I would look at.
Berendir's like, "What are you doing, dwarf? Pick up your sword."
I'm looking at Erebol confused after looking at Vidar.
Yeah, Arvel just I don't even think Arvel would notice. He's too busy looking down and trying to figure out how the hell they're gonna get down there. He doesn't even notice Vidar do that.
Why don't you do an explore to try to find the best way down, and I'm going to modify your TN based on your result.
Who are you talking about?
Erebel.
Oh God. Anybody else got a better one than I do?
A better what?
Explore.
I
I got a 1.
Not. I got 0.
I have 2.
But he's fucked off, so. Is that Explorer? Oh man.
Goody looks around, and the only way he can see down is down that sheer, that rock wall that's down there. There's no other way as far as Goody knows. Same with Erebel.
God.
Errol doesn't even think that looks good.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Erebel, just keep in mind, I'm going to have you, one of your checks coming up, I want to have you roll twice and keep the worst result.
No. Okay.
Keep fucking up, man.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't find a way down, you know. There are other ways you could use craft to make some harnesses and try to lift, lower each other down this rock face down to the bottom, and pick up the path from down there. But no one has seen a better way to do it yet. Berendir's kind of looking around. Let's see what he has. As Explorers 1, let's just roll it, see. Boom. So Berendir says, come on, we gotta get out of this weather. And he sees, this way, the grade is not so steep. Come now. We'll scramble down to the bottom.
And with no other good ideas, apparently, I'll go ahead and follow him.
Yeah, I was like, Aglaron, take the lead.
Agron starts picking his way down the slope.
All right, athletics checks, all of you guys.
Oh, man.
Oh, that ain't bad.
Vidar hates athletics checks.
That's pretty bad. I wouldn't even pass that if I hoped it, so just take out eat shit, I guess.
You want me to roll twice?
Yes.
You want me to roll
Yeah.
twice, Bo?
Yeah, roll twice, keep the worst.
They're both the same, so. There.
It's the only person that passes Vidar.
Well, Vidar and Aglaron. Aglaron passed with 14.
All right, everybody that didn't pass, take another 2 travel fatigue.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So the wind picks up now, but at least you're out of the worst of it, and you're down to the bottom of this ravine. And more than half of you fall on the way down, just fall on your backside, and you slide down this rock face, scrabbling for a foothold, and you can't find a foothold, just come crashing to the bottom.
Oh, I knew I didn't want to walk through the Mirkwood. I knew this was a bad idea.
Wiping some dirt off my cloak. Oh, just wait until the wood elves find you. Sylvans will love to munch on your little dwarf hide.
Don't you talk like that. God, stay near me.
Arvel just turns and he's very irritating. He's like, quiet, enough of this banter. We have enough to deal with besides you bickering at each other.
Well, that elf started it.
All right, everybody make an awareness.
Uh-oh.
Something I don't suck at.
I'm okay with this, sort of. Yeah!
All right, so Berendir failed. Goody succeed. Erebel succeed.
Great success for Goody.
Yep.
Pass that on to me, yo.
Yeah, Vidar. Well, Vidar, do you want to hope it? You're one away. Because you really want everybody to pass.
Yes, okay. I'll hope it, and I'll pass.
Yeah, I can give him the bonus if he wants.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can't he give me a bonus?
No, it's only for travel.
Yeah, that's for lore checks, guys.
No, you can't. You can pass on
Yeah.
D6
No, you can.
on this type. Yes, because it's for initiative.
That changed everybody's fucking tune real quick.
So Aglaron barely passed. Arthur, you great success. Vidar.
I mean, even if I roll a 1, I pass. So
We have 2. Yeah, but Barondir got a 7.
oh
So if you hope it, and then Barondir can roll 2d6, and hopefully.
no, Jesus Christ, that's. Oh, fine. I'll hope it.
Oh. Yeah. You want to hope it?
Yeah, I'll hope it, and I pass well above.
Well, let's hope I get at least a 14.
Here comes the 1 and the 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
7,
got
14.
Just got it.
Yeah, so everybody passes. All right. Somebody roll a 2d6 for me.
I will. Huh.
Oh god, it's not good.
Uh-oh.
Those Mandalorians.
They're coming out of the walls, man!
Game over, man. Game over.
Oh no. Oh my god.
Oh, what are those?
Please don't miss, Aglaron.
So, as you get down to the bottom, near the top, you can see that there's like all these passageways carved in this rock. And so you see, all of you see these spidery shapes kind of running around up there. Here. And you start to hear the stretching of bows.
Them look like goblins.
All right.
Alright, well, try to find cover. And he, like, swings his own bow off his back. Seldom used.
All right. Why don't you guys roll battle for bonus die?
Are they just in the trees, or are they on
They're
spiders?
just like-
I heard spidery shapes, and I fucking shit myself.
No, no. It's these goblins. They're up in these passageways, kind of up top here,
2 dice.
kind of ready to shoot down at you.
Oh, okay. I
God
thought
damn it.
goblin spider riders. I was like, oh no.
Arthur gets 2.
TN
bonus.
14?
Yep.
Goody gets none. Erbu gets what, 1?
No, I got none.
Hey,
Oh,
you
you.
won.
I succeeded. Yeah, I succeeded.
I think it's just me and
And
Arthur.
that's it. Yeah. But you guys get the first initiative slot.
Volley.
So, yeah. You volley on them. You can't really reach them from where you're at
No,
either.
I can't. It's just gonna be bow fighting.
Is there? Let me ask you kind of this though. Is there how easy would it be to just like flee like the way we're going, but stay in cover as we're running?
Yeah, you guys can try to do that. Start running down the ravine.
Yeah, Arvel thinks this is a bad idea. We're pinned down. Let's just go. Stay in cover and run. Shoot them if you can, but let's go.
Vidar, unfortunately, he sees green, and he immediately just becomes savage at the sight of them, and rushes in to attack the first one he can.
They're out of
can't
reach.
attack
We
them.
can't reach them. They're up in the mountains, like peering out of
He
caves.
can roll athletics to climb if he really wants.
No.
Yeah, you do that.
No. If they're like seriously out of reach.
Yeah, I mean,
up in
if we could have fought them, so if we can fight them hand to hand, that's one thing. We can't. That limit. I think there's 3 people without bows.
Yeah.
No, it's 4 because Goody has a bow.
No, okay, so there's 2 people
No,
without
no,
bows.
I think we should just run. At least Goody would do that. We are tired. We are wet, soaked.
Move and shoot.
In order to try to flee, it's gonna be athletics at 12.
Oh. So you can either do that or shoot, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Try to get away from them in these here mountains.
yeah, correct. So Goody would say, out of you, maybe we shoot and run.
Well, does killing any of them lower the TN? I mean,
No.
No, because it's gonna be whatever one has the highest of whatever that affects your. Because athletics TN 10 plus the highest of.
Two. So.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, Arvel's not gonna leave anybody if they're not gonna listen to him.
I would say run. So
I
can
don't
we
think-
do the volley and then run?
Yeah, we get
I mean,
our
they're gonna
volleys
shoot back
free,
at
I
us.
think, and then we go right.
Yep.
So we can shoot the first turn and then.
I don't think Arthur would run from goblins anyway. To be fair.
Well, and I know Vidar wouldn't.
Well, Vidar can sit there and attack the mountain. Then. I mean, I don't.
He's that Matic. Yeah, well, I'll volley. So yeah, we'll
Yeah,
take
we'll
these.
volley. That's fine.
Okay.
Bows out. Oh baby, that's a good start.
Plus,
Goody.
That's edge too.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, he's got a roll injury. 14. Oh man.
Yeah, he's gonna not
Oh, easy. Easy.
past it. Did you hit him? What's your damage there? 5.
damage is 5. Yes.
I'll go next. Wow. No.
Arthur misses his target.
We'll shoot the same one that Goody shot at.
Oh yes.
That'll do it. That's an injury too.
It's also
Yeah,
edge.
That kills him though. So you shoot the first one, and just and it falls out of the cliff. It goes cracks its skull on the trail in front of you.
And it's a goblin, right? That we see at our feet. Like, is
Yep,
it like some
yep.
sort of special goblin or
Nope, just a mountain goblin.
mountain goblin?
Oh my god, what a roll.
Aglaron.
Hey, we're on! Hey,
Aglaron
like
misses
book
well.
one.
So you guys are like running down this thing, and you shoot off your volleys. Are you all going to try to run or no?
It doesn't sound like it.
Okay.
Huh?
So they're
Not
going.
running?
Nope.
Okay.
All right. So that's your little volley round. So you won the awareness initiative. You all get to go again.
And
Goody's
seeing
going
that, seeing
to-
that nobody, or at least some people, are staying behind, Arvel just like curses and puts another arrow against his string and prepares to fire again. You guys can go though.
Vidar is staying like low, close to the wall, so that the angle is awkward for them to try and shoot at him, anyways. But at the same time, as he's staying close to the wall, he's searching for a path up.
So Erhul obviously is in
Rearwood, rear.
Yeah,
rearward.
Yeah. I'll be rearward as well.
As well, Aglaron.
rear is as far as you can go, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that makes sense for this situation. So, and he's going to go that so he can use his skill. And Vidar's probably rearward, just so it increases the TN that it takes to hit him. So you guys want to shoot again?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, who wants to go first?
Nah, that's a miss.
Good, he
That's
misses.
the last one, Master Hobbit. Oh, for fuck's sake.
There you go.
That'll do it.
Agron. That's damage 5. It's a great success. That's going to kill him. So the second one. Ah! He falls out.
Oh.
This is.
Erebel aims at the mountain right in front of him and shoots it.
I told you
Man.
to run.
And Barondir has his shield out and you know, just RP wise, a couple missing arrows kind of bounce off of his shield, and he's like, "Stay close together, move through the ravine." And it's going to be their turn, and let's see what happens at the. Not to the bottom, so. This one's going to be against Vidar.
That's
Yes.
good.
This one will be against Aglaron.
It's probably
Miss.
also good.
He should have busted his bowstring for rolling a doll.
Not good. I
Uh,
still
17.
might miss. Who's it against?
What's your? It's Arthur. What's your parry? Yeah, I don't miss him.
Yeah.
This one's against Erebul. Yes. And Goody.
That'll
That's
hit.
good. Yeah.
I'll probably hit you, right?
Yep. That'll hit.
Damage of 4.
Damage of 4.
I will shoot at the one who shot Goody.
Still so you hear from behind you. You hear clamoring feet, iron-shod feet, and you see 6 dark shapes kind of coming down the ravine towards you.
Oh god.
Yeah, Ervil's getting, like, seeing what's happening. He's like, Arthur, we have to go. There's no reason to fight here.
And then Goody's gonna kind of like scream out, Arthur! Just like imploring him.
Fine.
You guys are back up.
Yeah, and Arvil kind of grabs Goody by the shoulder and goes, "Go!"
Goody's gonna run.
All right. So the situation. I know you're on open mode, but you're trying to escape from these people that have the high ground, right?
Mhm.
So I'm not going to let it be an automatic escape. It's going to be athletics 12.
Yep.
Okay, so this is Goody's athletics 12. 14, yes.
Nice roll.
Ooh.
So Goody starts to gain some distance from these archers. He's out of range of the archers for the moment. Although these goblins behind you are starting to are chasing you all as well. All right, let me just see what Barondir does.
Oh, that's not good.
He can use hope. Yep, he'll use 1 hope, and he is along the Hobbit and goes, "Master Hobbit, follow me. My shield will protect you. You've been hit."
Indeed I have, Captain. I shall follow you. And Goody starts running behind the shield or in front of the shield as Berendir covers him.
Arvel's kind of waiting expectantly to see what Arthanor and Vidar do.
Vidar, immediately upon seeing these goblins start coming up the ravine here, he's gonna rush right at them.
All right, so you're changing your stance.
Yeah, he's going completely forward.
Oh my god. He's a madman.
All right, so he engages them. These goblins just suddenly start to swarm around you. I'm gonna say, since you're closing with them, I'm gonna just say kind of you're their only target, so they start to kind of surround you.
I would, upon seeing that, it's Erevel, get the dwarf. Yeah, Erevel, get the dwarf.
You can only have 2 on you at a time, right?
No, you have 3.
You can have as many as you
They're
want.
tiny.
Yeah, you can be surrounded. Oh my god.
Yeah, put me in defensive and
Vidar gets to attack, doesn't he, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So as I see them coming up the ravine from behind us, he turns around and immediately rushes into them to kind of try and stop them from approaching any further for the rest of the group. Brings his mattock up and just takes a hard swing at them.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And as he swings at them, he catches the corner of the, ravine wall, and it throws his balance off.
Oh my god. This looks familiar.
As you stop long enough to turn around and engage them from up the ravine, now there's time for more of these. 5 of them start clambering down the rocks, and they start splashing towards you, running along the ravine. So they're in front of you now.
So we can't. So we cannot flee, is what you're saying.
You can still try to flee around them, but they're a little stronger. It's going to be 13. So Vidar misses. What's Arthanor going to do?
I'm going defensive. I'm a stance. I'm gonna look at Erevel and say, "Get the dwarf," and I would go in there to tie him up and buy time. Vidar will be my my defensive choice if he gets attacked in his upcoming turn. I'm just gonna try to hit one of the ones on him.
Okay. 17. That surely hits. What is your the damage on that?
I do 7. Wait, no, damage on the spear. That's my body damage. Damage on the spear is 5.
Okay. So you hit him pretty hardly, and black ichors surrounding him. He turns to kind of face you and just growls at you. Tries to grab your spear. All right, the rest of you fools.
So how would that work in me pulling Vidar out? Is there any mechanical way to do it, or?
Do you want to pull him like away from?
Yeah, try to make him. I mean, I don't know. Honestly.
Just RP it.
Yeah, so Arvel rushes over to Vidar and grabs him by the shoulder and just starts trying to jerk him backwards. Come on, you fool!
And as soon as Arvel, grabs his shoulder, Vidar whips around and pushes his arm off, and he turns and looks at him, and his eyes are just wide and wild, and he has his mattock, and he almost swings it at Arvel. And he sees him standing there. Oh, are you saying you want to run?
Stay if you want, but you'll die here. I'm not letting the others die for your crazed hatred. Fill your hate for another time, you fool.
I would look to Agleron while they're arguing. Cousin, help Erevel. Get the dwarf.
Aglaron has his bow drawn, aiming at a goblin. He stops, looks at Arthur, nods, and rushes over to the dwarf's side with Eravul. Come on, Vidar, we must go! There are too many!
And Vidar, as he's like continuing to swing and parry with these goblins in front of him, hears the voice behind him saying, "Come on, Vidar, there are too many." And he looks over, and in that moment sees Goody off to the side, and Goody trying to do everything possible to not be hit, to not be attacked, to not be taken by these goblins. And it's in that moment Vidar realizes, yes, we must go right now, as the fear of Goody being injured or harmed rises in him. Realizes we must get out of here. Yes, I agree. Let's go. And he takes a swing at one of the goblins as he starts running off.
Hang on. All right, so Eravul, are you going to take an action, like an attack action?
No, I'm gonna run now. I'm gonna use my athletics to try to run.
All right, so it's 13.
I'll use hope.
Oh, and being the Mirkwood resident, Aglaron will try and sprint out ahead of the others, looking for the clearest path through the woods here, away from the goblins, trying to stay as in cover as possible.
All right.
Nice.
Massive.
And you're out.
He's gonna be sliding on a shield like a lost
So you guys are
bag.
you guys are putting distance between yourselves and the rear ones, the ones away from your rear. So you guys escape, and then so Vidar already went that round. Eravul, did you go that round?
No,
You did.
no. I mean, I ran.
Or
I
not,
didn't
not,
swing.
not yeah.
Arthur.
I meant Arthur.
Yeah.
Arthur went.
I went.
So Berendir and Goody both already went, and they're kind of starting to get further away. So they're getting closer to these goblins, but they're away from their rear rank. And now it's time to attack here. So you guys have kind of gotten far enough away that the ones up top are non-factor now. They're far enough away they can't attack you. So you're trying to get past these other ones. So it's their turn. So Eravul and Aglaron have gotten away. Vidar and Arthur are still engaged, so they're going to take 2 attacks apiece. Let's see here. Miss. Miss. A 15, I'm sure that's a miss.
On me, yeah.
Actually, you're in close stance, aren't you?
Vidar is.
What's your parry? Your parry is
My parry is 4.
So that second one does hit you. So take 4 damage.
Okay, so that was at me.
Yep. And then one more towards Arthur. 18. Nope.
No.
Okay. And then Berendir misses. Goody. Misses.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are up again. Stances.
Defensive.
Okay. Vidar.
Well, if we're gonna run, then I go in defensive. or rearward or whatever it is. Yeah.
Rearward. Yeah.
Rearward for the archer.
Yeah, I'm in defensive. Actually, are we? So we got to fight
So
these dudes?
you've kind of gone up to this second group here at this point.
Oh, I would charge them at open. He just like rushes at him with things in his way. Captain, with me! Clear the path!
Aglarond, you're probably gonna stay rearward then, right?
Correct.
And Berendir is going to go in defensive. And Goody,
Rearward.
rearward.
Yeah, Aglarond tries to shoot one of them as his friend.
I don't think we can do. I don't think everybody can be real because we're outnumbered.
Outnumbered.
Yeah, but it's kind of situational
Okay.
because there's enough room between these two groups. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's whatever you say.
Yeah. So RP wise, I'll allow it. So closest goes first, so it's going to be Errol.
Yeah, he just like charges the first one with his. He kind of like as he was running, kind of stowed his bow and drew his hand in a half sword, and then with a huge like side swipe with both hands, just tries to take out the one to my left,
Nice.
and that's
Oh,
awful.
no.
And he misses.
And a miss, yes.
Next up would be Berendir, and so he gives a battle cry and says, to me, to my shield! We'll break through this line and leave many bodies in our wake." And so he's going to do his free action. I think it's Inspire, right? That's all he does, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a regular success, so I believe people get 2 endurance. Let me see here.
Oh, his Inspire, yeah.
So honor into battle, if I can ever see that. Rally comrades.
That would just help Goody.
Yep, yeah, so Goody, you get 2 endurance back.
Oh yes.
And he also gets to attack. Whips out his long sword.
Oh,
Nice.
baby.
That guy just dies. Takes the sword, runs it through one of the goblins, kicks it off with his boot, and like smashes its head away from him with his shield. All right, Arthur.
I'd be sitting here fighting these guys off and go, Vidar, run, you fool! And try to stab one of these guys in front of me. That would be an edge.
So you want to try to kill one of the new ones, or the one that's already
It's
wounded?
one of the ones in front of me. I don't know which one. I don't know if I've hurt one or not in front of me, but
You did. You already hurt one of them.
yeah.
But with the edge, if he fails, that just leaves the wounded one left.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna. Well, I don't know that I would think like that. I guess.
You want
Right,
to kill
if I do
the
the same one.
kill the wounded one.
Yeah.
Good. There you go. So you run your spear through the throat of this goblin, and he dies in a gurgling pool, falls into the stream, and gets washed downstream. All right, the rearward folks are up. Vidar, you want to try to run?
Yeah. Are we running or are we fighting?
We got caught.
So-
So there's like 3 lines of combat, I think. Right?
Yeah, 2 lines.
2
Like,
lines.
yeah.
If
So
you want to
can
engage
stay
in
and fight
this,
if you want.
yeah.
I mean, 'cause it seems like everyone around me is still fighting.
We have to in the back line to get through
Yeah.
them. So you would have to flee to the back line. Now I don't know what'll happen with the front line. Arthur's trying to hold him off because he's hard to hit.
Right.
Well, I mean, if
Just do what you think Vidar would do.
well, he would hit the fuckers right in front of him.
All right, so then he's going to stay in close.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if we run and we run into a back line and the line that I'm in front of just closes in on us, Well, it's no different than just attacking him here and now.
Or you could, once you get to the front, everybody can run away again, then you'd be safe.
I will not. I will not stay for you. I will say that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, just one of them.
Wow, that's 2 in a row.
Another one kind of comes up the ravine from the rear, acting like he's late to the party.
And Arvel yells back to Arthur, "Leave him if he's not going to come." He's not
All right,
gonna like.
Aglaron and Goody are up.
Goody's gonna run. He doesn't. He knows he's outmatched. Athletics again.
Yep, 13.
No.
Oh no.
So you're trying to get around this front line of goblins, and there's just too many of them. You can't find a way around. Can't do much.
Wow.
Aglaron's gonna shoot Johnny Come Lately, the last up.
Welcome to the battle.
Oh. Oh god.
So you shoot one. He takes an arrow in the gut, but continues to go forward. And now it's the top bad guy's turn again. Alright. Another one closes on Vidar. This last one closes on Arthur. And these close on you guys here. And Goody. Aglaron's. Goody, the only reason I'm letting him get on you is because you tried to get around them.
Yep, makes sense.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be as much.
Yep.
And these two
That's
are
fine.
here.
That
So we're just gonna
helps the RP.
We're just gonna go front to back. 11. Your parry is 4.
Who are we talking about here?
A Vidar.
My parry is 4, yes.
So that hits. So you take 4 damage.
Okay.
Are you wary yet?
No.
4 more.
How about now?
Now I am.
Oh shit.
Yeah, 4 more.
Oh shit.
Edge 2, by the way.
Oh
Yeah, that one's edge.
Roll protection. 12. You'll kill that because of your armor.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
With a wary,
Even
you never
wary.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, even wary. So he made it. So he gets surrounded there because he stayed back and he's in close combat. These guys are trying to get Arthur. Good luck hitting that slimy bastard. Miss. A 16
No.
miss.
No.
Next would be Eravul.
Miss.
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 Miss. Barondeer. Miss. 13. Actually, let me look at Baron Parry. Ah, it's only 2? Oh, it's 4 because of the shield.
Mm-hmm.
4. So 16. So that misses. Here would have to be a 16. And the one on Goody. Dolph.
No.
With the Dolph, I'll allow
No,
you.
that's good.
I'll allow you with that Dolph to use your a small stature or whatever it is to get away and get to the rear of the line, like
Yes.
over here. So you duck out of the way of him, scramble along the walls, and he's like, "Where'd that little sneaker go?" And he starts looking around in the crags and stuff. Come here, you little stinker. I know that your meat is sweet. I'm going to feast on your flesh. None of your friends will arrive. He'll never escape these mountains. They're ours. So he's looking around for you, and you're like nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I'm just like sitting in like a little nook between the rocks, kind of cowering and shivering and scared out of my wits.
Defensive for
All right.
me. I'm going defensive now.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the top.
Staying where I'm at. Vidar is my target if I spend hope to take an attack for him. He's
Okay.
the one who I'll be defending.
Well,
And-
Aglaron still has to go.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Can he still fire at the guys in the rear?
You can fire at anybody.
All right. Well, he's going to shoot at one of the ones on Vidar.
Yep. So you spin around. That actually
It's gonna be
12.
close.
Yeah, that would not. That would miss unless you use a hope, probably. Their parry is actually 4, so you have to beat a 16.
No, he could beat that with a hope if he wants.
Only 5 damage though. If it was a 6, I would say do it. But I don't know. It can't hurt. I mean, it's up to you. I don't think it's gonna drop the thing. That's the thing.
Nope.
All right. Well, then I guess I won't spin the hope.
He's missing.
Man, Aglaron's rolls have been rough.
All right, so I think you guys are back up.
Defensive.
That's it. Vidar.
Vidar is my defensive.
Vidar, you don't
And
stay close.
Vidar, after taking these 3 on and fighting and taking several hits and becoming tired, he uses some tactical expertise and decides he needs to become defensive.
All right.
Technical genius.
Advances to the rear.
So Vidar, you want to go?
Yeah, sure.
If you roll another eye,
Oh,
Hallelujah.
Oh, he might miss though.
Oh,
Unless he
he
uses
is.
hope.
Yeah.
that misses probably. Let me see. So he has a parry.
for that, I'll use a hope.
Yeah, it's
Parry, parry of
guaranteed death.
4. So you have to beat 16, yeah. So you're gonna kill one of them.
So Vidar, weary and downtrodden and kind of almost one knee dropping into the mud, his anger fills up into him and he pulls back into a defensive position. And as he pulls back, at the same time he's pulling back, he lunges his mattock forward and just smacks one of the goblins right in the face.
Arthur.
I would like to clear out more of this garbage in front of me.
Yep.
Garbage cleared.
Right through the skull, quick and clean. Better than they deserve.
Airvul.
My God.
Yeah, you have to beat 16.
I can't do it. Too low in hope.
Alright. Baron
Actually, I'm gonna
Deer's-
use a bonus die. 16? Oh, never mind. No.
Alright, Baron Deer.
Oh,
There you go.
man. Oh, baby.
He kills one of them, and he's gonna do his Inspire again. Raises his sword as he takes it down. He says, "We're almost through them, boys." And hopefully Vidar will be able to benefit from this one. 15, so 2.
Goody should get 2 as well, right?
Yep, everybody. And Vidar, you get 2 endurance back.
Nice.
And now we have Aglaron.
Still weary.
Aglaron will take a shot at one of the ones in front of.
Oh, how about the one that's already wounded, so you can kill him?
Which one? There's no wounded in front of me.
This one is.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, because that's the one that Aglarond shot before.
Oh, I see.
That's Johnny.
Johnny latecomer.
Johnny come lately.
Oh, man, right through the eye.
My God.
How's that look?
Yeah, so that one just goes right through his eye, out the back of his head, pinning him standing to a tree.
And Goody.
Goody's running, so he's gonna hide wherever he is, stay there, not engage.
All right, I'll let you shoot with your bow and remain hidden.
Okay. So in that case, I'm gonna try and shoot the guy who almost hit me.
So he's looking at one of the rocky crags, and like a ways away from him, like behind a boulder with his cloak over him. Goody pops up with his bow, just shoots this bastard right in the back. He's like, "Ah! I've been stung!" So he's injured there. All right, is that everybody?
That is.
All right, let's make the rounds again here. All right, Vidar.
And Vidar, after
This is
It's their round.
yeah, it's our turn.
I see what you're saying. Okay, Vidar, like they're hitting me.
15. 15. Let's see here.
I would miss. 12 plus 4.
I think that misses.
Yeah. Barely misses. And then Arthur
No, get out.
with Eravul
Miss.
with Berendir
With.
and this guy just kind of turns around, and next turn he's going to rejoin the fray. He just charges towards Berendir, and you guys are up again. You gonna get out of this without rolling another eye?
I don't know, Vidar, are we?
You guys all could have booked it.
So Vidar, I think we're all greens, right? So
Yeah, we're not changing.
So Vidar will go first. It's like, oi, green one, you picked the wrong day to come out in the sunlight.
Oh God.
Oh, shit. Okay, good.
Kills him though. Splatters his
As he
goblin.
brings the mattock down straight on his head, and it smashes like a watermelon.
And he just crumples into the stream and is washed away in a pool of black blood. Arthur,
I've got these bonus die that I haven't used yet, so I guess I'll use one.
you can pass those around too, by the way.
Really? I'll
Yeah.
pass one over to Vidar since he's weary. No, I already said I'd use it, so there you go. Not that it makes much difference. I think that's a dead gobbo. With
15 doesn't hit him.
Oh, it doesn't. Oh no, I rolled the.
Oh yeah. That would kill him.
Right. I just killed 2 goblins while weary.
And you're gonna give that one to VR?
Yeah, he'll need it. I know he will.
All right.
And seeing him kill that last goblin, Vidar gains encouragement, and knowing that there's actually an elf fighting by my side. Well, this is strange times. It is, and he gains encouragement from that.
I'm gonna use the bonus die because I'm sucking balls.
Good call.
It's not
Show
gonna
me a
matter.
6, big man. No.
If you can hope it. You're not gonna use it though.
I said I was before I rolled, so I did.
You're gonna use your hope though?
Oh no, I'm not using.
No. Berendir tries to inspire again. Whips out his longsword.
Oh my god. Oh!
They're back though. They start running down the ravine. The back line, like the ones closer to Vidar and Arthur, You see a bunch more shapes kind of scrambling down the ravine, saying, "There they are. There's the intruders. We saw some floaters downstream and knew there's some action going on."
Floaters.
So they're going to engage probably next turn. That was Barondir. So he misses.
That
but,
was his inspire, right? Not his attack.
Yeah.
No, that was his attack.
That was his
okay.
longsword. He's still going to do the inspire.
Oh, okay, I see.
So let's see here. Oh, good, 4.
Vidar, take 4 back. Encumbrance.
That is so sweet.
Endurance.
Yep. Regain 4.
Are you
So
still
you see
weary?
this man of Gondor in the
I
thick of
am
it
no
mixing
longer
up.
weary.
Yes.
No longer worry, folks. That rousing speech that I didn't hear was so
I'm sure if Ian
rousing.
was here, he'd whip something out.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been, you know, the lyrics to some Metallica song or something. But that rousing speech just lifted Vidar's heart, and in the heat of battle, he just raises his head and he's like, "Oi, we've got this, lads! We've got this, lads!"
Aglaron.
All right, Aglaron will look for one of the ones on on Barondir.
It's either like instant kill or complete whiff. One of the two.
That's a whiff. And there's one of them that's damaged. If you hope it, you could kill him. It's up to you.
No, we'll hold on to the hope.
Hold on to it.
Whoa, he doesn't like spending that hope.
It's the
All right.
first session.
Goody.
Yes!
Oh, he's a badass.
Nice, good.
Which one you want to shoot?
The one I shot before. Just
Okay.
kill that person.
So that Johnny come lately, he's like in a lock combat with Vidar, or with Barondir. Barondir sees an arrow shoot out of his eye, and looks behind him and sees you perched up on a rock and just gives you the nod. The action movie nod. And it's their turn, right?
Yep.
All right. And
Are you fucking serious?
Huh? What? Why 2d6? What happened?
so from up the ravine, you just see the mountains just start to empty out. So I'm gonna get my round here.
Vidar, please leave. Oh.
So that's a 4 and an edge. So give yourself 4 damage and roll
Vidar.
protection.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yes.
God damn it.
Yeah, you.
So 4 damage and then roll your protection.
You gotta beat a 12.
You're gonna be wary when you're low protection too, I think.
Yep. You're a lucky man.
It's hard to hit him and wound him.
Not hard to hit him, I guess.
No. Minor scuffs and altercations and back and forth, yeah. But to actually wound him, no, it's hard.
Airful, what's your parry?
5.
So that hits.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So 4
And
damage.
an edge.
Yep.
Oh yeah, edge.
Hold on, let me.
Yeah.
Luckily, not weary.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
No concerns there.
And Barondir. Misses. And that's it.
After Erebul is cut on the side and kind of bounces off his armor, but he yells, looks over his shoulder and he's like, Arthanor, run! He's done.
So all these guys are going to be there soon.
Yeah.
Next round they're going to be like swarmy guys. So back to the top here. So here are your choices, guys. You can either try to disengage from this one foe, so it's the athletics at 13, or if you kill them, you'll be able to get away too. So if you get rid of these guys all in one round, or run.
All right, Bo. I got one for you. I'm gonna go defensive, but I'll let you know what I'm doing. So whenever we get these things together, these combat stances.
Seeing that this is the last guy in his way, so can they reach the back line or just the front line next turn?
Just these people.
All right, I'm gonna go forward then.
Forward. All right. And Barondir, just thinking the same thing. We want to try to clear out these. Try to clear these guys out. Vidar, what are you doing?
Vidar sees the mob running in and he says, "Boy, I hate them greenskins, but I hate the thought of dying even more. We've got to run!" Damn you all, why aren't you running?
Alright. So you're going to try to run?
Yeah.
So you're going to fall into rear rid and try. Well, actually, you're still in. You can flee from close combat. That's fine. All right. And Arthanor, what are you doing? Defensive still?
Defensive.
All right. Why don't you make your athletics check there, Vidar?
This.
I would have just gone. I would have just gone close, try to finish him off, and book it.
Let's get out of here.
Oh my fucking god.
I'll use a hope point.
Athletics is body, so you're probably good to go, right?
My body is 7.
Yeah. So you make you're successful in that attempt. You have a free. You can get out of here.
Bye, bitches.
You start running down the ravine.
Maybe you should give us one of your bonus die.
Yeah, you want to give that?
Sure. I'll give that to Erebul.
Okay. And Erebul has one. All right. And actually, I should have let the close combat people go first, but.
Yeah, but.
All right. Erebul.
Yeah, he just tries to run this thing down again, using my bonus die. Hallelujah.
That'll do it. That's an end.
What does that look like?
Yeah, he just finally is done playing with this thing because he's been trying to hit it, but he's been looking over his shoulder too. This time, now that he sees kind of a clear path for everybody, he just shoulder checks the thing, knocks it off balance, and just splits it in twain with a double-handed strike from shoulder to pelvis.
I like how the music swells.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna skip Barondir since he's not here, just so you guys get more of the spotlight. So, Arthanor or Aglaron?
Aglaron, go ahead.
Alright, we'll try and take out the last one to the front.
Bonk.
Arrow in his neck, but he's still fighting. He tries to grasp on to Barondir's shield. And Barondir's like, "Kill me, brother!" Arthanor.
I'm thinking of doing some dumb but in retrospect cool shit, such as standing against the tide of which is coming against my friends here.
You guys can all get out of here.
Goody will try and
Do I
hide
know that?
over the main.
I mean, look behind you. It looks pretty open.
You can run. Yeah, you can run down the ravine.
But would I is the question.
Arvel's Arthur, let's go. We'll need you. We need you. Don't sacrifice yourself for nothing.
It's too good, Bo. It's too good, Bo. I have to do it.
All right.
I'm going at this one that's wounded, and I'm gonna hold the line. As I'm moving forward, just maybe I had my helmet. No, I have a helmet to sort of get my spear ready. Look down the gullet and Arvul. Make sure Goody is safe, and stab this little fool.
It hits him. But your damage is like 7.
Yeah.
It's 5. So you stab him, but he grabs a hold of you, kind of pinning you against a rock, kind of just growling in your ear. And the wind continues to pour down. As you see Arthur turn to go face the tide and see them rushing in, Goody, please make a corruption check.
Corruption.
Sure.
What's that? Roll
Valor.
wisdom, right?
Or not valor, wisdom. It's wisdom.
Wisdom.
Oh. Gain a shadow point as you see him throwing his life away.
What?
Your heart just drops in your chest as you see Arthur turn and re-engage these people as you're getting ready to get out of here.
That's perm shadow, correct?
What's that?
It's a permanent shadow, correct?
I think it's temp. Most things are
It's
temp.
Okay.
Yeah. Permanent shadow you don't get unless you suffer a bout of madness.
I see, okay.
All right.
So I'll
So.
be screaming, Arthur!
Mhm. And you still need to go, right, Goody?
Yeah, I shot my bow for 14. I think that's a miss, right? This guy.
That is a miss.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be 12 plus. You have to get 16.
16?
Yep.
Hold on. Where would be body?
Yep.
Yes, I'll hope it.
So you guys are clear to escape. You've killed them all.
So let me ask you a question. How long until can any of these things get to the back line? And not in this turn, right?
No.
Arvel is like, "What are you doing?" And she's a sword and draws his bow out as he's backpedaling.
It's a situation that you feel, you've been in many battles. You feel like you can just run down this ravine down and kind of escape onto the plains, and that, Arthur is there. They're just going to swarm him because to them, killing that elf is like the best thing they could ever do with their lives. They're all just going to attack him.
Yeah, as he's backing up, he pulls his bow out, and I won't flee until next turn, at the very least.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you guys have all gone. It's their turn.
It would appear so.
Okay. So they all start to flood around you. It's like water breaking around a rock. They start to surround you. I'm only going to do that many at a time. And here we go. Remain in defensive.
Yes.
But he killed them all.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No way.
No.
Bo wouldn't let me get away with that.
11 miss.
They gotta get a 21, right?
Or an eye.
Or not.
Yeah.
No.
They roll more dolphs than we do.
They all miss. They all miss.
And Arthur is just fielding them off, just fighting them off and fighting them off.
You guys are up again.
Statistically
Railroad.
speaking, 1 in 12 attacks will hit me, guaranteed. So it's only a matter of time.
Rear.
Defensive sounds pretty good.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
And Arthur, you don't.
Does Vidar see this, or
Yes,
is
you
he
guys.
run through-
If you guys are all running, you can run it like you can see it, but
No,
you can
Goody at this
turn
point is
around and
not
see
running
this.
anymore.
I'm just backpedaling, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are like backpedaling, and yeah, that makes sense.
There is no way I'm leaving.
Vidar, oh shit. Seeing, even though it's Arthanor, someone who he has very little interaction with, and he doesn't know very much, but just the fact that Arthanor has been part of this group for years now, Vidar's fury is just enraged seeing him surrounded like that, and rushes in.
Oh no.
All right, defensive.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, I'll do defensive for the timing.
All right, what about the rest of you fucks?
I'm gonna shoot.
I'm there with.
I think. I'm gonna wait and see what other people do.
Berendir takes out his bow. He's like, "What are you fools doing? You're not soldiers. You've lost your mind. You're mad."
Vidar is a soldier. But...
Shortest campaign in B&B history.
Nice. They're not soldiers. Like you're not acting like soldiers, though.
Over my shoulder as I'm
All right.
parrying.
Arthur, go first.
Yeah, over my shoulder as I'm parrying a blow to make it part of my parry. What are you fools doing? Fly! This is my fight now. Leave! Will I die for nothing?
Elf, you are one of us. We are not going to leave you on this field to be eaten by these beasts.
You're all imbeciles. Stab the front one in front of me. The one that I injured already.
Yeah, kill him. All right, Vidar.
And then Vidar is going to immediately swing at one of them in front of him.
Oh, you weary fuck.
Is that really -3?
Yep.
What
You
the?
gotta roll 4 or higher when you're weary.
hmm
Otherwise, it's nothing.
So he misses, and two of them kind of turn on him. And Goody.
Goody's firing his bow. He's screaming Arthur over and over again.
Good roll.
Wow.
Probably would kill one of them. Which one do you want to shoot? The one on Arthur?
Yeah, the one all on Arthur. All I'm doing is just targeting the ones on Arthur. And all he's doing is just screaming over and over.
It's like one of those slow motion moments in the movies.
Yeah, and he's like,
You're gonna get Boromired.
Ervil, yeah.
I'm just gonna. He just turns and starts shooting at the horde,
Okay.
which is
Misses.
no.
Baron Deer does the same thing. He actually shoots at one of them on Vidar. Miss. Ervil.
Agleron.
Agron.
We'll try and get one of the ones on Vidar.
Oh, there it is.
Kills him.
Money shot.
So Vidar's swinging his mattock and parrying and stuff, and one of them just drops down with an arrow in its throat from Agleron. And Their turn, right?
Yeah. you boys got a choice to make.
Oh God, dang it!
Actually, one of them. That's a chieftain.
Boys got a choice to make.
So as this starts to go, the rest of them catch up with you guys. Let's see. So many. Good thing we got these macros.
Yeah.
These are able to reach you guys. And I'm going to split them between Vidar and Arthur.
Where's my bodyguard?
They're fighting off screen.
They were eaten by elves.
Yeah. They died when you rolled poorly on your athletics test to climb down here.
All right, this group next round will reach you guys. All right, here we go. Going around the horn.
No. No.
Statistically, they should be rolling some eyes.
One in every 12 statistically should hit me.
No,
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
So 4 damage and roll protection.
Okay.
I need the man of Gondor's
So
encouraging words.
if I'm at fatigue, I am weary.
Yes.
Or is it when I'm under? Okay, so I'm weary. Because of fucking travel fatigue, god damn it. Where's protection? There it is.
Can't ignore anything in the system.
Pass
Made it.
that.
Made it. All right, 2 more.
No. No.
Okay. Vidar. 18. What do they have to beat on you? 16?
Where?
Your parry's 4, right?
Yeah,
Parry's 4.
That beats it.
Yeah. So 4 damage.
Gosh, dang.
Are you're wary?
Oh, yeah.
He's been wary.
Miss.
I told him to fucking run.
Miss. Miss.
Ooh, that would've been
Yeah,
brutal.
that would have been bad.
Miss.
Hit,
18 hits. That's great success.
8 damage.
Oh.
Yep. 8 damage. Actually, their attribute level, the Mountain Goblin, 3, so it's going to be 7 damage
Okay.
for Vidar.
I always
Alright.
get that confused. So on a great success, it's your
It's-
body
it's
plus your
Yeah.
or your
No, it's,
base.
well, it's different.
Your
The
combat
NPC
value
is different.
damage. Oh, okay.
It's different for NPCs, yeah. It's your attribute level.
Oh, okay.
All right, so all those went. The bad guys, these other ones are going to close in next turn. And so I guess we're back to the top.
Cody's gonna turn to Aravil and he's gonna like in a very beseeching tone. Aravil, what do we do?
Actually, there's another group coming in. I forgot.
Wait. I don't think we went. The range guys, I don't think ever went, did they?
No, that was just the
Yeah, they
enemy's
did.
turn.
You guys did a round of shooting.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
So it's Arthur's attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
7 more of them after this group.
I feel like the GM is trying to say something.
Oh. You've had like 3 times to win this battle, but you have chosen not to.
Yeah.
So I don't feel bad.
I didn't choose.
No, hold on.
Look.
So wait. Like this, I don't get this. So you are my fellowship phase. So I am not gonna fucking leave the battle just because you want to throw your fucking life away. So I don't get like what is really happening. I've been playing along, but it's kind of getting fucking irritating at this point. So is there something happening that is off screen?
No.
Okay.
This was not
So
a
that means-
decision that was
okay, so then you're just gonna stay here and whatever happens.
Now I know what I'm doing next turn. So
Running.
you guys go, and then when it's my turn.
Yep, you guys are up.
I will remain in defensive and take the one in front of me.
Kill one of them.
Vidar will seeing the look, seeing the depressing and you know the given look in Arthur's eyes. Vidar knows that he's gonna stay. So Vidar decides it's time to run.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
13.
No, you don't. Now it's the Orc Chieftain's the highest tribute level. So now it's gonna be 17.
Jesus Christ! So why even try and run?
Yeah.
You can
We
can
need
dolphin.
returns. Yeah, you can dolphin. You could body that and probably get it.
Yeah.
Yep. I will go ahead and oh man, I will spend hope. I am dangerously low. Spend hope and I'm out of there.
So you break 3 and sprint up towards the others, and they're chasing after you.
And as I kind of like shove one to the side and smack another one off with my mattock, and shoulder another one as I'm bursting through, I'm just yelling, "Arthur! Arthur!" and I'm running through. And as I'm breaking through the line, I see the others, and I see Goody. We've got to go. Get Goody out of here. Get Goody out of here. We've got to go.
You're lucky I don't attack you, but Arvel turns and sees Goody and just shakes his head and looks down at him briefly. And he reaches down, scoops him up, or tries to, with Zypher's approval.
Yeah, go for it.
Throws him over his shoulder and runs without looking back.
Aglaron knows it's a futile gesture, but he leaves a parting gift for one of the goblins around Arthur.
And one of them falls against Arthur as they just swarm at his feet. And Barondir does the same thing before taking off.
That was a good try from Barondir.
Misses, turns to go. No! Arthur, run!
Give a nod to Aglaron for his effort. And turn back to those that surround me.
Alright, how's this gonna look?
Oh, you're the game master. You tell me.
I don't wanna stay awake any longer if you're just gonna stay there.
Fair enough.
We'll just,
Yeah.
we'll just RP that you get overrun.
Yeah. Seems
Because
fair.
I don't think that. Depressing. So how do you go down?
Just fighting to the last. Buying as much time, killing as many as I can, and perhaps fall to the hordes that surround me not long after. The orc chieftain getting involved is becoming a foe that, with the help of all these others, eventually pushes me back, and thus ends Arthur of Elrond.
Yeah, the rain continues. You guys are sweating. You hear the howling down the ravine as you run the rest of the way down out of the mountain. Goody is over Arthur's shoulder as they run down out of the mountain onto the plains beyond, and the rain eventually stops. And we'll end it there.
Ugh. So fucking depressing.
Good start to book 2.
So fucking depressing.
Cypher is clearly upset with me.
Cypher fucking, he's pissed.
He's clearly